What is happening? Let's get Heather back up here, get some things moved around. What's going on, everybody? BOOMA Community Streamer number 48. I just was thinking of like a style that I was like, it just came to me. Demolition Man, if anybody's seen that movie. If not, we'll talk about it a little bit, but it's kind of a futuristic thing. And then this idea, I don't know if anybody has like thoughts about the difference between, if there is a difference between Hue-Man and mankind and all that kind of stuff. We got some things to chat about. But other than that, what's happening, everybody in the live chat? What's happening, everybody on the panel? We got one new person. We got some that rejoined from last time, and then we got Cass. How you doing, Cass?
I'm so good. Is everybody staying cool?
I know, right?
So hot.
Trying.
So hot.
It's hot out there. What is happening, everybody? It's so good to see you. I know that they're finishing up the jamboree, or I don't know if they're finishing. I'm not sure how long they said they were doing that thing, but in Alabama, I bet that was hot too. But it looked like a nice spot, so hopefully they stayed cool. And if anybody is tuning in from there, let us know how it's going. I've seen some pictures. It looks like people were having a good time. So Sabrina and the band over there are finishing up this leg of the workshops. So it's awesome. And Valena, you were there. I saw a picture with you. You were with Dawn, Christine, and Sabrina. How are you doing? Hopefully you're making it home back, or you're getting back home. Yep, driving back from Alabama. All right, drive safe, but welcome. I'm looking forward to hearing more about how that all went. And then what is happening, Amiel?
Hello, great to be here again. I wish I could have went to that Alabama class, but there's other things, financially. So, but I plan to go in the future.
Cool, man. That's awesome. Yeah, we'll see. It'll be cool to get Sabrina back too, so we can start collabing again, doing some podcast, get her overall take on things. And then she said, like, she sent me a voice message this morning, and it was just like she's got all kinds of stuff planned, new PDFs, new things to tackle. And then, of course, we want to get to the Price is Wrong, bitch. Get the Synergist games rocking and rolling again. So I'm excited about that. Right? So it'll be fun. We'll have some fun, and then we'll get down to business, and we'll have all kinds of stuff going on. But what is happening, Mike? Welcome back.
Nada. How's everybody tonight or today or wherever you are?
Right. Everybody's in it. Some people are tuning in. I think it's like midnight across the pond. So
right. Yeah, I'm doing good. Thank you for letting me hang out, Booma, and thanks for everybody for putting up with me. What's going on in here? Y'all ready to get it cracking or what?
Right. We were chatting a little bit backstage. Some of us having a little nostalgia on some of the old movies that we watched as kids. And I mean, some of it's nostalgia, and then some of it's like maybe what we saw as kids is what they might be bringing in now. Moses is still a kid. So what's happening, Moses? You have no idea what Demolition Man is. You probably never even heard of some of these movies.
I have not, actually. You're right. I have not. But
right.
It does sound interesting. I'm happy to be back and just ready, glad to be here and engage into different perspectives.
Right. And so overall, this was just a chill time. Like, we're just going to hang out like a community does and interact, chat a little bit. We could talk about whatever. This just came to me. I don't know what happened to your character, Moses, on the far right there. I think you got body snatched. It doesn't really look like you like at all. And then me with that hair, I was like, I'm going with it because it's so dumb that it's like I gotta keep that hair. Amiel looks like perfect, like he's made for the big screen. His character comes out just like him. And then you got Heather and Charley that look like they age regressed them. So in Demolition Man, they cryogenically freeze people like at a certain time, and then some people get brought back. So like this movie, I'll get into it a little bit more later after we talk to everybody here on the panel. But they're frozen for various things, for like crimes, and then they bring them back for various purposes into this future that I guess is set in 2032. So they're coming back into this futuristic world. Like, what the heck is this world? You know, everything's freaking changed from when they were like sent in and cryogenically frozen. So Moses got body snatched and put into an older body of somebody else. And then Charley and Heather will go to you. But either one of you jump in. However, you guys are veterans here on the panel. But it seems that they age regress, y'all. Like, not I'm not saying you're old ladies, but you looking like you're back in your teens.
Yeah, we look like teenagers.
Right. You're causing some problems when they had to cryogenically freeze you because you're doing some naughty.
It looks exactly like we do right now.
Yeah, you're like, I don't know what you're talking about. That's exactly what we look like.
Precisely.
Right. So we'll get into it. Charlie's husband knows all about Demolition Man, so I was like, "Grrr, finally. Because back in when I was growing up as a kid, we didn't have the internet. You didn't have all this, online shit. You didn't have Netflix and all this stuff, and you didn't have shorts and ADHD like pumping all the time. You had Nickelodeon, you had freaking MTV was huge back then, but you also had stuff like HBO, Showtime, and whatnot. But we had satellite TV, and so what they would do is they would just regurgitate the newer movies over and over again. And so you turn on HBO, and for some reason there was like 3 to 5 different HBO channels that you had on satellite, and you'd get a movie like Demolition Man. I watched White Men Can't Jump a million times. Running Man that we were talking about before we came on. All those movies when they came out, the blockbuster hits, they would just regurgitate them over and over again. But that's all you knew. You didn't have all these options you had today. So you just watched them and watched them and watched them.
Programming.
And now, yes, right? Programming. And now we know. And so we're going to have a little bit of fun because that's what we do here in the Booma Party Bus. But this like future with them wearing the, what is it? I can't remember. It's like a police department of some sort in one of these cities or whatnot. And that's all futuristic, happiness and mandatory. They got robots walking around giving people tickets for swearing. You're not allowed to swear. Like everything is like, it's just a completely different future, like a complete surveillance state, but they like that. And so in the movie, I'll get into the premise a little bit here shortly as we say hi to everybody also in the chat. But what's
up with the seashells?
Seashells. Oh, yes. We'll get into some of that shit. Or are you talking about somebody got seashells here?
No, for Demolition Man in the bathroom.
Right. Well, yes, there's seashells.
I never understood that.
Right. Well, I'll look that up. I kind of remember a little bit about it because Sylvester Stallone comes out because they don't have toilet paper anymore because toilet paper was such a
right
arcane way to like clean yourself. And they no longer have sex, so they don't exchange bodily fluids because they don't want to spread disease.
Oh, I missed that part.
Yes, they have different.
What a horrible future.
Right. But
that's Gen Z.
Yes.
Gen Z and Gen X.
We're gonna do it virtually. Are you sure?
No,
I don't know.
No thanks.
I don't know how
Moses,
old everybody is here. Some of you aren't even gonna have any idea what this is, but this is back like. It might be right at the peak of Wesley Snipes because this, I think, was before Blade and all that. So I would say that was peak Wesley Snipes, even though he had a lot of movies at this time. But Wesley Snipes is the bad guy. And then he gets freed from his cryogenic throat. Like someone breaks him out and he's causing mayhem. And all these police are like pussified. They don't know how to actually fight crime because they haven't had to fight crime in years. And so they have to bring back a Sylvester Stallone to take care of business. That is like a little bit of the premise from what I remember. Cass, do you have any idea what we're talking about?
Actually, I went and looked to see so I didn't even know that was what that movie was called. I did watch it whenever I was younger, but only certain things were popping up in my mind. And it's really the hairstyles for me that I remember. So that's all I can
Moses, you're going to love it because it's like everybody on screen had like a fro, but it had to be like perfectly cut.
The high top fade.
Yes, and then Wesley Snipes had it like bleached and stuff before that even really became like a real big thing. It was kind of like new, futuristic kind of thing that they were putting out there. You're gonna love it, bro. Probably not, but maybe we'll see. The conversation will still be.
Yeah,
cool.
Might not.
See, I'll say it's gonna be cool, but younger generations are always gonna say, "Bro, that's stupid."
Probably not.
We'll still have some fun.
It gave a lot of information, though.
They did. And I remember a little bit of the seashells. I just remember it was something to do with I don't even know if they ever fully explained it. I think they kept it more of a mystery. But the other person in it is Sandra Bullock. And Sandra Bullock's like a history buff of like times when it was like hard times, street gang wars and all that stuff. And she knows all about the history of Sylvester Stallone's character. So she's kind of like geeked out, like excited to meet him because he actually fought real crime. And she has no idea what it is to fight real crime. She's just a pencil pusher and they just exist because there's no crime anymore. And then they bring back somebody like Wesley Snipes and he's causing all kinds of mayhem real quick because everybody's like, they don't even know anything about any violence or swearing or any of that kind of stuff. So anyways, I don't even know who you are, and I don't hand out the links anymore. So there's that. You would have to join the Telegram chat probably is your best bet and get to know us so that we can bring you on. And so that's kind of how we do things now. There's been a lot of situations, and it's nothing personal. It's just stupid people coming on doing stupid. We're done with that. What's up, Monica? Good to see you. Hope you're doing all right. What's up, F Fox? We got Jane in the house. Blunt bitch. It's freaking late where you are, huh? So we got to make this good. We're gonna make sure that Mike entertains everybody. Otherwise, you're gonna send people.
Me? Y'all in trouble then.
All right, man. And now the show gets handed over to our guest of honor, Mike. Just joking. Miss Cones, what's happening? Valerie, it's so good to see you here. All right, we got some of the troopers in the house. I love it. Stack Probably Sal, LJ. I don't know what you want me to call you, LJA21, but you're here and targeted. Welcome, Chris Saul. April's in the house. Oh man, this is super awesome. I can keep naming names, but I'm super stoked to see you all. So, anyways, what is happening? So cool to see people join in from all the different platforms. We got Rumble rolling, we got YouTube and Substack, and this is BOOMA Community Streama number 48, July 26, 2026. So let's get into this a little bit, get some juices flowing, and talk a little bit about this. And the crazy thing is that when I made this yesterday, just like out of the blue, like it just came to my mind, like why not? Because we talked about Blade Runner future and all this stuff. So there's Wesley Snipes. There you go. Oh man, his hair and the way that they did it, that it had not been done so much. They're making, get this. I had no idea. Look what they're doing, Mike. Look what they're doing, guys. They're making a second one that's in the works.
Put it to bed. No. For what?
Right.
I mean,
They're
the
bringing
first
the
one
haircut
wasn't
back.
that great.
It was
I
just
don't know.
like an old classic kind of a thing, you know?
Right. But I don't know. Okay, so Jaws 1 and then Jaws 3. Compare
Right.
those.
Right. So here he is coming out of like cryogenically frozen. Okay, go ahead.
Demolition Man had Sandra Bullock. Was that the one where the only restaurant was Taco Bell?
Sounds right. That sounds right.
And
Yeah.
they were
Right?
underground and they were eating rats underground because and they only they had to do the virtual headset to like have relationships.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it was.
Yeah.
There's a
was the
lot
only-
in that movie. I
Right.
forgot.
So Taco Bell is the only one that survived the franchise wars and is the only restaurant.
That was the only thing available, period.
Because the food is so delicious.
Or rats.
And
Well,
I'm
you
pretty
can eat
sure
rats
right
every
now,
day.
current day, Taco Bell is one of the places that distributed a lot of tainted lettuce, giving people explosive diarrhea and lots of issues. And if you're going through that, I am sorry to hear that. I am sorry.
Sorry to hear if you're still eating Taco Bell these days or any of the other bullshit.
I'm very sorry for
Oh,
laughing
my
at it.
gosh. Right. But
But-
this is it's okay. So there's that. Now let me get into this. And then I'll shut up and let everybody just kind of chat about what we got going on here. Because the reason I'm bringing this up is because I think that they told us a lot. So this is, I guess, set in 2032, which was the future in the early 90s, you know, like the great future where, you know, even in the schoolrooms, they were telling us at the time that we were going to have flying cars by that time and all kinds of stuff. And none of that shit has happened. But anyway,
That they show us.
Right. So in 1993, sci-fi action film Demolition Man, hyper-violent LAPD cop John Spartan and psychopathic criminal Simon Phoenix who's Wesley Snipes, are cryogenically frozen in 1996, revived 36 years later in the peaceful, pacifist utopia of San Angeles, Phoenix, goes on a rampage, forcing authorities to thaw Spartan to stop him. There's a little premise of it. The 1996 setup, I think they have a history as far as Stallone's character and Wesley Snipes' character, where they had a clash, and Phoenix got him in trouble or whatever, blows up a building and kills the hostages, but frames Spartan. So Spartan also went down and was cryogenically frozen. And anyways, it wakes up in this future that is 2032 in San Angeles. So that's why on the cover photo that I made for this, the title tag, it's SAPD and blah, blah, run by like a peaceful, non-violent society that's freaking out. And they're excited, or at least Sandra Bullock's character is excited to bring Spartan back because he's the only one that can fight such an evil man like Phoenix, that is Wesley Snipes. And that is Demolition Man, and I can tell that Charley and Heather are super stoked. All right, go ahead. Whoever wants to talk about this shit. I had a little fun there because before I knew that the world was as bad as it is, it was actually enjoyable to disappear.
Right?
Movies. It was so fun to just disappear in these movies and talk to your friends about it. And now you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
Now you're using it as a reference to real life. You're like, no, listen, have you seen this movie?
Yeah, now it's like it's not really that cool, right? Because it's like everything's it's probably telling us.
Oh, you guys are doing that.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, because I actually do remember that movie now. When you were talking about it, I was like, no, I haven't seen that. But yes, I did see that. And there was a lot.
It wasn't that memorable to you?
Well, no. Now that I'm playing back the movie in my mind, going, fuck. Because they were talking about you couldn't swear. Your thoughts were, everything was monitored. I mean, they disclosed a lot in that movie.
Yeah, as soon as you swear, it's audible and you get a ticket, like it pops up in one of their little printer things or some shit like that, if I remember correctly.
Robot comes up and prints out.
Oh, is that what it is?
And
yeah.
Stallone gets pissed and he just cusses and he just keeps grabbing the tickets.
Yeah. Everybody's like shocked.
Idiots. And it's like a bunch of pussies.
Why is he swearing so much?
Came into a future with a bunch of pussies.
It's like racking up speeding tickets by swearing. Like, well.
The 90s, right? Exactly. And it's overall it's creepy now. They made it a little bit into an action comedy. Heather would have a bunch of tickets. Yes, she would. Heather would have so many tickets.
I would not be alone in that, though. Okay,
that's probably why you got cryogenically frozen in the first place.
Tickets.
She just cussed so much.
We need to shut this bitch up.
This bitch needs to be cryogenically frozen.
Jail.
I know I have a really low credit score already. My difficulty probably already.
Don't worry. I think the B system's probably going to offer you to wipe that slate clean as long as you get over your soul.
Yeah, I know.
You good on that, Heather?
I'd be like, fuck you.
Right. We're gonna be the ones, if we even can survive it, in like Demolition Man and some of these other movies where we're gonna be down in the sewers eating rats. And
oh fuck, I hope not. I hope it's not that bad.
I hope we find something else to eat, but
you better start getting some recipes because
right. So we need Moses going to culinary school, but like, only cook with like the nastiest shit so that you can try to make it taste good. So in preparation with very minimal abilities to, I don't know, we're gonna have to boil these things and then put them over an open flame that's probably going to be burning trash. I mean, we got a situation to deal with. We will have the greatest plasma weapons ever, but it's going to be rough.
Well, we have to know how to grow food and hunt. Back to the basics.
Right. But I mean, you're gonna have to dip out of the underground and pull that off without a drone seeing you. And they got ghost murmur for how many years now? Like, that's the thing. These are things that they didn't tell us in Demolition Man. They didn't tell us in some of these futuristic movies back then how bad it was actually going to be. Like, back then, you're like, when you're watching it as a kid, you're like, yeah, if that future comes, I'm going to kick ass in that future. And now you're getting close to that future, and you're like, oh shit, they got bigger toys than they fucking told us they were going to have.
Terminator. I feel like Terminator is on a replay in my mind constantly. Like, we all watched that movie, right? It did not end well.
Yes.
But a whole field of the Terminators.
Right. Imagine just
like Clone Wars, like from Star Wars and shit. A whole bunch of them fuckers. Like
more
you
like
see, oh yes,
like
yes, that
leading the
too.
blind.
That's the other part of it.
References to survive. I'm like, no, really.
It reminds me of the Black Mirror episode that I saw.
Oh,
the girl
yes.
in the end where she was in jail, and there was a guy and a girl, and they were like the bars in between, and they were cursing at each other at the end because they ended up in jail because their credit score got so low.
Oh, is that the one with the teacher? She's a teacher.
I think she might. Well, there's a couple with a teacher. There's one where the teacher has like cancer or something. And it's a newer one where she has cancer, and so they have to constantly upgrade. So they're spending all this money, and she'll just in the middle of class, all of a sudden,
she's saying ads
out like a hemorrhoid commercial. Like they were using her for.
So she goes further and further away from being an actual human being, and they're running ads through her, but they cured her cancer for her, so she's just a beacon now to
and they
whatever.
They keep having to upgrade so they can keep paying more money. So
they got to pay money now.
Less of those commercials that she's used less, but they couldn't afford it.
Hey, imagine if they did that to us. Like they started giving us technology, and then eventually they get us addicted to it, and then they make us pay for it, and people follow.
So it's the same
they wouldn't
thing
do that
it's
though.
Cable. That's what they do for cable. You can have this for this amount of price, but then before you know it, your bill went from $50 a month to $200.
Right, and then what are you gonna do? Like, well, that's fine.
I'm pretty used to it. The other one was where like anybody that had a cell phone, which everybody did, right? You would just hold it up to somebody, and then you could give them a credit score. Like if somebody was an asshole to you or something, you could just say, "Oh, you get 1 star." And then then you couldn't get to work. I mean, they do something very similar in China already, where they're everything. So let's say your credit score dips too low, you can't even get into the building that you work at to go work and make money, or you can't leave your area, or you can't get like if you call it Uber or something, maybe nobody will pick you up because your credit score is too low.
I remember when cable first came out. I was young, real young. And I said, why are people going to pay to watch TV? You get TV for free. Why are people doing this? I was like, this is insanity. And a couple of adults were like, oh, but they have some type of programming. I was like, but you can watch TV for free. Why are you going to pay for it? Now look at where we are. It's insane.
Someone asked for the Telegram. I put it in all the chats. Moses, you were going to jump in there and say something, though. Do you watch Black Mirror?
Dude, so yes, I've watched every single episode, and it's crazy because you can look at it and be like, we kind of have something similar today. Every single episode, literally, every single episode. It's such a mind fuck.
It is.
So what's that doing? What do you think, Moses? What's that doing for the perception management of Generation Z, for the younger generations? We're all old.
I feel like it's helping you embrace it and not be scared and not fear it, because there's all these cool things, and and obviously, like, I think we've been over this the last conversation where we're like, people from my generation, they were kind of born into the tech boom and everything, so it's not something that's so like new to you, So I think it's definitely helping with, the pacification and, getting yourself more familiar with these machines. And
Sensitized.
yeah, it absolutely, because when I look at these shows, if I didn't know what I know now, it sounds like a good deal. It sounds fun. It sounds exciting. It's the way of the future, but obviously it's a double-edged sword. Is that the saying, whatever?
Yeah.
It's a double-edged sword or whatever. Yeah, it's not really what it seems. So, yeah, I mean, I feel like we're already all kind of desensitized a bit from the programming, the movies, just society,
Yes.
People lack empathy, and it's just like, yeah, you're slowly becoming less and less human every day,
Right, and a lot of the stuff that gets shared around is like kids getting in fights, people getting knocked out. I mean, not everybody's online that much, but some of the stuff, and maybe it gets into my algorithm because I pay attention to that because I just can't believe this is the thing. There was a guy going around. His name was Chud the Builder, and he would just go in and flame. He would just be a racist and like say it was First Amendment, and then he ended up shooting a dude, and now he's like facing crimes, which he rightfully should. But there's all this controversy and stuff. So all the controversial stuff is hot. There's the fighting and people getting knocked out, and then there's like people that are like, they don't show it as much. Like there was a period of time for YouTube even where it was like people that were dying and stuff. Like they were like literally showing like and whether it was like actually done in a on a movie set or something, I don't know, but it was like Afghanistan and stuff like that where they were chopping heads off of like journalists and stuff like that. They were showing those things on like YouTube back in the day.
Cartel executions, yeah.
Right. So they would show that stuff. So now like that kind of stuff is kind of coming back on places like X and various things, depending on your sensitivity level. And then there's plenty of porn on a lot of these sites now, and they are allowing it because it's just a normal thing now. So there's desensitization as far as kids being able to watch the most disturbing sexual and like perversion material that exists just at the click of a button. Now, obviously, there's underground stuff that's likely way worse that I don't even want to talk about, think about. But what you're talking about there, Moses, is exactly, I think, what they're doing. So when we're getting ready to come on here, they're desensitizing the younger generation to the point where like they need more stimulation. And then they're setting them in classrooms where it's indoctrination and boring ass shit. Even when I was a 90s kid, that was our saying. Everything sucks. You just said it all the time. It was like a normal thing. Life sucks. Everything sucks. Life is boring. And it's like you made excuses for it all the time. Now you have a generation that's being completely mind wiped of their dopamine, and they want higher rushes, and life sucks and it's boring. So they'll see movies like this and they'll actually look forward to it. I think they'll look forward to the other movie that we were going to bring up that Mike actually brought to my attention that came out around the time, or somewhat around the time, was called Running Man with Arnold Schwarzenegger. And this was more of like they did a remake recently, but this was more like a game show where they took guys that were alleged criminals. Now, of course, they always make the Sylvester Stallones and Arnold Schwarzenegger's misunderstood good guys that end up in these situations. But it's like almost like a gladiator thing where you get put into these scenarios where you got to fight to the death. And so we've seen now Hunger Games. We've seen some of these dystopian movies that were showing early in the 90s or late 80s maybe. And now it's coming into this world where it's like, I think that it'll be like one of those things where if they were to like put a real Running Man scenario, like the remake, where you have the opportunity to become like rich beyond your wildest dreams, but you have to survive. And anybody that kills you wins money too. I think that when you're talking about wiping the minds of people's like empathy and desensitizing them, like what we're talking about here, they're gonna they'll just kind of start to welcome it. And plus, like life sucks. They can't even afford to fucking like live in an apartment or anything anymore unless you got a 2-income house, and then relationships are almost impossible to hold because you can sit there and cheat on each other just through your freaking thumbs on a little device, and then destroyed in no fucking time. I don't even, man, dude, I haven't been in a relationship for a while now. I don't even know if I can anymore. Like, the world is so fucked. And I don't want to be a doomer. I'm just saying. Sometimes that's how I feel. Like, And when you feel like that, you start thinking like, well, shit, I don't want this future to come. But when younger minds see this stuff, they might be excited. I'm just saying.
Because that's kind of all you know. If you're that young, you know what I mean? The whole like driving tech forward. And it's like, it's either you know what's going on and you're going to do what you can to not really let yourself get sucked into it, or you're going to be like, hey, well, this has been here forever, might as well embrace it and have fun, right? You know, that's
Do as thou wilt.
Do as thou wilt. Yes, there's less spirituality. There's an embracing of some of these philosophies, if you want to call them that. They're just know God, one life to live, get the most out of it. This is nothing new. Yes, hedonistic. Like the book that I'm named after, The Picture of Dorian Gray, even in that time, I think it was the 1800s at some point when that book was written. But during those times, you had also The Great Gatsby, where these people were like the elites of the time, and they wanted to experience all that what there was to experience, whether it was sexual experiences. In the Picture of Dorian Gray, he had wanted to experience what it was like to take a life and murder somebody, and the sins just like built up. And then the Picture of Dorian Gray, all the sins went onto the painting, and then Dorian Gray lives longer than everybody else, watching generations die as he still looks beautiful, and therefore can get away with all kinds of stuff, because that's the way it is still for a lot of the people that exist in this world. If you're attractive, a very good looking person, and you're a celebrity, you can get away with whatever the fuck you want almost. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Do you think there's like a disconnect between the generations? Younger generations don't have a connection to the generation older than my generation, and it's hard for them to even relate to my generation. And Sabrina even mentions it a couple of times when she's teaching her classes. Like, she wants a community for her kids to be able to be involved in when she's no longer able to answer those questions because she's not around. And I raise children. I have 3 of them in different generations, and it's hard to raise them without being so technologically advanced, because you don't want them to be constantly plugged in. But at the same time, their peers are doing that. So the community is even smaller for them to try to connect to people who aren't doing that. And yeah, that dopamine hit, you know what I mean? How do you keep chasing that for them? Because you want them to enjoy life. You want them to have hope. Mindset is a lot, and it's almost robbed from them every day.
But all of us were not born with these devices in our hands like they have been.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately,
they all need to listen to us, children out
there.
Follow us. We are the ones.
Well, I mean, at least we have a chance, because they don't know anything other than that.
Right.
It takes 2 generations to erase something. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. I mean, like, I think when I was late high school, they were showing us kind of how to code like simple websites and shit, but it wasn't really a thing that anybody really cared about. Now it's a thing where, like, even if you were to like not let your child have a phone, but you allow them to go to a public school system, there are kids with the phones there, and there are kids with the phones completely unlocked, and they are showing them porn, they are showing them horrific stuff and all the things that they're not allowed to see. And so but it's stimulating to the mind. When you haven't seen something, experienced it, I've talked about this before too. Like when I was a kid, we were like, we found like I think they were like 70s or something like that, Playboys. And it was like, young guys finding little Playboys. And now it's like, you just go from that like to like instantly everything that there is about sex and the worst perversions.
Even if you didn't have an imagination
no way.
Well, if you watch that at a certain age, then you think that that's how it's supposed to be. So when you get relationships, that's how you and it completely skews how really it's supposed to be.
You are going exactly where I was going, Heather. Like, that's not what a relationship is supposed to be like. Like, yo, it ain't wild like that. Like, you're gonna fucking scare somebody if you're fucking trying that wild shit.
Well, I mean,
you know what I mean? Like, they think that's normal. That's what you're supposed to do. Like
Yeah.
you don't have to do a backflip,
Right. So
bro.
then if they're not,
It ain't like that.
Not into it, they feel bad about
Yeah.
themselves because they think that's how it should be.
Right,
And then
right.
they push
That's
themselves. They push
unhealthy.
themselves to do
That's
things they wouldn't.
that's
you know.
unhealthy as fuck. Like, why don't
then
you
they
learn how to
have-
kiss first, sir?
Hold
Before you
hands.
try to do some wild shit.
You just jump right
I'm
in
just
and
saying. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
But now they
it's
have it
all-
on market share. You can buy that for, you know what I mean? They have conventions about it. And so it is becoming a reality for them to choose that over a human connection.
Yeah, and then the robots and the AI. Yikes! Really? That's your partner? Huh?
sex bots,
That is
stuff,
just-
Yeah.
into a closet,
Can I
pull it out. The elites, though, like Sabrina says, they already got the ability to basically do Stepford wife kind of stuff where they could literally program a woman. I mean, look at Hugh Hefner and having those young ladies that were all around him, and they made a freaking TV series about it. And that was just a glimpse of like something that was made up Hollywood scripted the way that they presented it.
Mhm.
There was all kinds of debauchery going on, and then obviously honeypot allegations, underground stuff going on at the Playboy Mansion, all that stuff. But regardless, you got this old haggard freaking man that has like 5 young blondes, and Kendra, I think it was the name of one of them. Maybe it was a different one that said that they literally said on camera that they were made to be for Hugh Hefner.
It was Holly.
Holly was the one. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I remember seeing it, but like they literally, as if they
There was
were,
three
Right.
at one time.
they were groomed from a young
Yeah.
age to be this.
Well, that
She
goes.
literally said it though in an interview a couple of times where
Mhm.
she was like, that one of the things that stuck out was she said, I was made for him to be perfect for him, but the only thing I think he would have had done differently is how intelligent I am. Like she wasn't sure that he liked how intelligent she was.
Right.
Wow.
All kinds of porn. Yeah, grumpy cat. I see what you're
I
saying.
guess it's what you're looking for in a woman, huh? I just want the dumb ones that don't say anything. What? All right. Whatever.
Clip it.
Not for me, but whatever.
You
Yeah.
got but you got a lot of kids that are never learning what love is or intimacy. They're learning lust. They're learning primal sexual urges. They're not learning any discipline. There's no discipline. Now you can just hook up whenever the heck you want to hook up, and you just swipe right, left, or however it works. When I was going into my first rehab, 2013, 14, 2014, I think it was. I didn't know the lingo at the time, not that I cared, but it was all about smashing. And I'm like, you guys literally call it that? Like this kind of guy comes in, he's like, man, we're gonna smash. And then I heard a woman say, like, I'm gonna smash him. Like, that's what you guys call it?
Idiocracy.
Smash each other?
Yeah.
Nothing. Smush. Remember
Oh
the
my
South Park
God.
shit?
Because there's no
That's not
like
love.
tenderness or like emotion or anything behind it. It's just
Nothing.
okay, bye.
Wham bam, thank you, ma'am.
Let's swipe to the next one.
Degeneracy and hedonism. And you know what's happening? These kids' brains are getting so scrambled by all the stuff that y'all are talking about. The porn, the violence, all the desensitization that's coming at them. And you do that to, a neurodivergent mind. And we're dealing with a big mess. I don't know if y'all have seen, I looked up, I love GIFs, right? The GIFs, little moving memes.
Right.
I love them. And I looked up autism under GIFs. And Dorian, I sent you a few of them. It illustrates perfectly what's going on in the perception of people's minds who are, largely the younger generations who are being just inundated with this campaign to desensitize and degenerate them in their behaviors.
Right.
And
just to point out real quick, you said a few, there's 10.
Yeah, but they're just GIFs. You just blast through them.
I know, but few to me is, like 3.
Okay, you're right. You're right. But
You overwhelmed him, Charlie.
I really,
Good thing
Pardon me,
damn
sir.
good. I'm pretty damn good at this. But when someone says a few and I look and I see 10, I'm like, yeah, you're a little off. Like,
No, I do the same thing, Charlie.
Get them in
whatever.
there.
All right. Just having a little funsies. Oh man, what are these even considered? Are these videos? Yes, they are. All right, let's get into some of these. Oh, it's too short. Hold on, I'm gonna pull it up. I think I can watch it differently, or I'm gonna have to recalibrate the entire thing in order to show them.
Listen, let me just preface it. So if you want to, even if you're on your own Telegram, just type in autism in the GIFs. Have a look at what's happening with the autistic community, with the neurodivergent community, and how it is intertwined, intrinsically enmeshed with the LGBTQ community and neurodivergence, of course, and all of this degenerate sexualization, the furries, you know, the transhuman enmeshment, the boy on boy stuff. It's really, and it's all anime stuff too. It's very glittery, and there's a cat that's actually a Pop-Tart, but there's a rainbow coming out of its ass, you know, that kind of shit. And it's just chaotic. It's chaotic, and it just illustrates for me what's happening in the perception, in the minds of people whose eggs are that scrambled, you know?
Right. I'll start pulling these up. They're not going to be on repeat, but they'll just be little MP4s, but we can look at them over and over, like just to get an idea. But what you're saying is exactly, oh man, just looking at some of these, it's like Japanese porn, I think, was some of the first like come out. And like, oddly enough, some of the stuff that I combat is the Q stuff. And so Jim Watkins is one of the names that was like, his son was named Ron, and they had 8chan. I believe they had controlled 8chan or bought 8chan. I think they had more chans. But anyways, that was like where the Q post would post. And he made his wealth, I think he burned through it, through Japanese porn. And that's what I think of when I see stuff like this. It's like, it just reminds me of these degenerate things.
Well, they're grooming them to fall into that porn. So this one, you see, we've got autism. We've got the dumpster fire just to the left. We have a rotating goat. We have I Love Jesus, and also I Love Sex. We've got that rainbow figure 8 infinity symbol, which is the symbol for neurodivergence, but it's also entwined with LGBTQ. So this is the transhumanism. It's not as cool as they tried to show us in the old movies. They just want us to celebrate like it is that cool. And these neurodivergent types really are on this LARP, living this main character syndrome where they're trying to develop superpowers. And it's a very disturbing thing to witness in such huge quantities. I mean, the amount of neurodivergence in schools now is bankrupting our local schools because they can't afford to do the specialized programs for all of them.
Isn't that the idea?
Yes.
Right. Yes,
precisely.
it is.
Yeah, inclusion and tolerance is what the public schools are really promoting, and they're cutting back on funds. There's really not an option for quote unquote your traditional nuclear family. And the options for public to private to homeschooling, again, you shelter, you try to do the best that you can, but you still want a society in which you can allow the young generation to go into. And everybody, again, is just so disconnected and being fed an agenda in which we've never seen. You know what I mean? It's taken years. Just, you know, they've been feeding it to us since like Dorian said, since the 90s or earlier. I mean, for us, our programming starts probably, or for me anyways, in the 90s. A lot of things that I can remember that are subliminal that are now relative now.
Booma, you ever see that Yuri Bezmenov video? The Russian dude that talks about America, the ideological subversion, that video. Has anybody ever seen that?
It sounds familiar, but I watched so much material.
Likewise.
What
Likewise.
was
Yeah.
that about?
He just talks about how, you know, you can take down the whole US from within, like take down the people just by
That by demoralization, by over sexualization, the kind of what they were doing.
all the shit we're seeing that's playing out. He's like, here's how you do it. And
I don't know how old that is, but that was the game plan. That's been a game plan that they just have regurgitated.
Yeah, just one of them, one of the many. Yeah. Just sucks that. Oh, hey, this guy was right. Cool. Now what?
Right. Yeah, he wasn't fucking around. I'll show some more.
Okay. Yeah, this one. So I don't even know what's happening here, but they're dressed up like these parakeets.
I'm sorry.
They're getting married, but dressed up as parakeets, as their parakeets. And my daughter pointed out that like those are both boy parakeets because she's a bird nerd and she noticed that they both have blue sares, which is that little part above their beak. So those are both boy parakeets, and both of the, you know, humans behind them are wearing suits, but one looks more femme. It's just, you know, it's just the same scrambling. There's a Ukrainian heart in the center, of course, because God bless Ukraine, right? And Hello Kitty's bow is in the bottom right corner because I guess she was there and she dipped. And who the fuck knows? What the fuck? Moses, help. Is this happening to your friends? Jesus.
Honestly, I mean, I've seen those kind of GIFs, memes, or whatever. But I don't have any friends that are into this kind of stuff. But I have seen it, and I mean, it's just weird to me. I don't understand it, and I don't relate to this at all.
Well, yeah, no, we are not defining your generation by this. We just noticed they're disproportionately hit because, like somebody, I think Lisa said in the comments, like, yeah, this is what's happening to the kids, and they are being simultaneously taught by professors who are obsessed with Pokemon. So we're already 2 generations deep in of just this bizarre LARP into this scrambled, chaotic, entropic world where nothing is real and do as thou wilt.
Yeah.
Help, Moses.
Something that helped me when I was a very, very young child. My parents told me very early on, they said, when you go to school, you're just there to learn information and tell them what they know. And they said, if we tell you or you learn something outside of school and it contradicts what it is you're learning in school, don't go to school and ever tell them something different. They said, all you there is just to be able to pass tests and get by. And so you're not really there to learn the truth at school. And I always remembered that, and that helped me out a lot. And all. And it's more true now than it was then. It's just a jump. School is just a jump through hoops. I wish I could say it's different.
Yeah, no, I don't want to go on a rant right now, Biscuits, but I could go off for 5 or 6 hours about My Little Pony alone.
Right.
For sure.
Right. This stuff was happening earlier, but this is like overload. Like we got it more subliminally. Where it was hidden and stuff, but if you saw it, you couldn't unsee it. And then once you realized they were doing it, then you saw it more, and everybody pointed out that way. Now this is like overload instead of subliminal. It's like mass amounts all at once, and it triggers different things in the brain. Every piece, like like the Ukrainian heart, and then the bird nerds for the win. Awesome that you know that. I would have no idea about those little blue spots and both being male or whatnot, but that is exactly the kind of stuff where it's like, and overload in one shot quickly. The brain sees so many different stimuli that subliminally or subconsciously, I should say, you're being triggered in various ways that you have no idea you're even, that it's even stimulating parts of your brain.
Have any of you
And it
guys
just goes
seen the
on and
Disney
on.
Hoppers?
Poppers?
Have you guys seen that yet?
What is that?
So when Sabrina first did her very first class in Verona, I remember saying, don't be offended, but I just need something cartoonish to be able to explain to my children and the adults to meet them where they're at. I need a visual. I need something that can cartoonishly explain. And again, Dorian, you do amazing, 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 amazing work. But it was ironic. How long ago was that conversation? A couple of months ago? What,
Yeah.
maybe April, May? This Hoppers movie on Disney came out July, maybe, on live stream. And it explains exactly, almost to a T, what Sabrina has been going around and touring with. And I thought that that was so wild. But I was able, Hoppers, I was able to utilize it to kind of, because my kids hear me have these conversations, have these conferences, they see my workbooks, they see what I'm doing with my land. And this was something I was able to kind of give them to ground them in what I'm trying to teach them. Isn't that wild? Yes. Yeah, you gotta, yeah. Listen, it talks about frequency and what it does to the animals and how they swap basically a soul from one animal to another. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Well, yeah, and it's Pixar and it's Disney, and so obviously, like, there's other things you got to take into consideration with this kind of stuff. But they do tell us. What was the one where they had the characters in the mind? One was the depressed one was the angry one was the joy. Yes, the emotions.
Inside Out.
Inside Out.
And then Elements to add to that.
Yeah, Element.
I
think it's called Element.
They are like, there was a lot in those that were like truth in the sense of like kind of how it works. I studied psychology, at least that's what they teach you, or maybe that's what they want you to think of when you think about your internal processes or the elements of the world, I guess, on that case. But like, it was kind of like, because that's how it kind of feels like your emotions are kind of like competing for one another and those kinds of things. I don't know anything about that Hoppers one, but it's interesting what they tell you in that. It's almost,
I have a friend who's going through a master's program for kinesiology, and I was able to use Inside Out and Elements to help her understand and connect what she was learning in college to be able to pass those classes, because there's so much relativity to them. And this is what they're feeding our children. So this is what they're feeding the younger generations with this high stimuli. They are informing them. They're just informing them at a heightened level with more, I don't know, with more of a disconnect. You know what I mean? Because their parents aren't watching it. Their parents don't even know it's happening, or an adult. And then the adults don't even understand to be able to explain it. There's such a disconnect in the two generations right now. Two levels of generation.
Well, I've wondered if like we're heading towards some kind of disclosure. I mean, like I brought it up before, and it's not just hinging on this movie, but the Spielberg movie coming out where it's like they're going to disclose the whole truth to the world. And that one's more like aliens and all that kind of shit playing into that psyop. If you believe in aliens and all that stuff, I'm not saying that there's nothing, but I'm just saying like they push that kind of stuff to persuade you away from some of the real things that are really going on, like what Sabrina talks about, and these things that are coming up. But Hoppers and the way that they do tell us, like I feel like we could be coming up at a time where all the truth is put on the table, but it's also put there with all of this fucking noise. So even if it's put on the fucking table, you're still that people don't care anymore. It's like a human test, because they can have all the truth on the table, but it's like, yeah, well, that's nice. I'm going to go ahead and keep playing with my friends. And what the fuck does I brought this one back up and we got more to look at, but what does HBDD stand for? That's on that fucking jacket. Right next
I
to the
didn't look
cross.
that one up.
Mm.
Biscuits, do you know what that one is?
It's probably not good.
And it's probably going back to just like desensitizing us, slowly spoon
Yeah.
feeding us so that we don't have this big reaction to it anymore. You ever watch 10,000 BC where the huge mammoths are all chained up and they're so used to being enslaved that even a, you know, you have to really poke them in the heart to get them to move?
Interesting. I'm not really finding a whole lot, but it does say that there's an Ito Aotsuki character that has a white zip turtleneck hoodie featuring the letters HBDD. The letters are part of a fictional clothing design in the game's universe and does not stand for any real world or official anime term, which I call bullshit because it stands for something.
At least they're honest with the dumpster fire in the picture, you know, and the rotating goat.
Yeah.
Like, that's chaos. What?
I come back to this one because we like this is a creepy ass character, bro.
I mean, you just all you have to do is type autism into Telegram's GIFs, and these are the things that came up. I was like, Zane, come here, and we were just looking through them, and it's not.
I mean, that looks like a straight up pedophile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes
Poster
that's
child
the
of
thing with
pedophile.
neurodegeneration. Sometimes, you know, the stimming, you know, they're always looking for the next level of stimulation. They can't keep the hands out of the pants type thing, right? So if we are affecting, if we're degenerating people's pumpkins, then that's the sort of behavior we would tend to see more of when men turn to men, when, you know, some Old Testament stuff, some, you know, it's not a good sign of robust mental health. And they are actively reframing autism as evolution. And a lot of, you know, there's such PR and it's such a sensitive subject because all of our lives are touched by neurodiversity and autism. But I can't just celebrate them all the time without also feeling some righteous anger for the fact that this was done to our children, to our human predecessors. They've been hurt, they're hit, and they think they're winning. They're not okay. Killing myself, powered by autism. WAOI, I believe, means boy on boy. There's a Pokemon ball at the bottom. You know, this is being validated.
Powered by, what are all those little symbols? Just LGBTQ stuff or what?
I try to catch up, but it's moving at an extraordinary pace with the symbols and the avatarship, the cultivating of these digital identities.
And is this just like country focused? Like, is this, I'm in the States, or are people seeing this across the pond? Like,
everywhere. The internet is. The internet's spreading this into chat groups, into different, I don't know where the kids are at now. They got all kinds of shit out there now that I'm not even aware of probably, but oh my God.
So how easy is it to coax an autistic person that's on, you know, you got scales of, there's a wide range, but to willfully go on a chip?
I mean, we got people to
You
take
know,
back
just
for donuts.
Well, and think how
touche.
they have it's a newer thing that I don't know, maybe 10 years or something, but where the nonverbal autistic kids, you know, the parents have found a way through them, you know, typing and stuff. So if they could say, hey, just do this and you'll be able to talk, you'll be able to, you know, do all this stuff again.
have any of you guys listened to the Telepathy Tapes podcast.
Yeah, I think that's where I saw it. I think that's what it was called. Was
So
it
she really dives into the neurodivergent autistic community. Nonverbal really is her focus.
And they're
And
a lot of them are intelligent. They're really
yeah,
intelligent.
it would be
Yes.
if you haven't dived in and you want some, I love it, but it does make you question how many people are going to have enough authority to utilize that community to experiment.
I think they already do.
Yeah,
Yeah, they already
yeah,
have.
correct. Yeah.
They're indicative to me of the experiment being done on the human race. And while I don't look at autistic people as being particularly targeted, I think just like with targeted individuals, the symptomology is indicative that something has happened to the population. And some people, the more vulnerable people, tip over and it becomes evident. So we have to give that diagnostics, autism, neurodiversity, same thing with, the TIs. They're like, something's happening to me. So they made a community, a diagnosis. You're a targeted individual.
So what about hitting the blood-brain barrier, hitting past that? Does that have anything to do with it?
I think it does, but I don't have
I
any
think there's
scientific.
differences. You know what I mean? I think some of it's maybe a TI community. Some of it could be chemically induced. Some of it was maybe the way they were
Sure.
born, genetic. So I'm curious to know more research, but again, the vulnerability of getting that research comes at a price. So I
It'd
don't know the answer to that.
It'd be interesting to see how, I mean, because they usually have various gifts, but they also often lack social abilities and empathy. Not all of them, because there's scales, like Mike was saying, it's a spectrum.
Yeah.
But it would
It's
be
wide.
interesting to know,
It's very wide.
It'd be interesting
And then-
to know if they were more easily neurally nudged because they don't know that they don't seem to understand danger in the same way. They might not recognize a predator or somebody that's taking advantage of them. Dean, that I used to have on here, that's currently incarcerated, used to point this stuff out. I kept this on the screen, LJA21. These are the things that Dean would constantly point out, because if you invert these colors, it all leads back to their sex magic and the cult stuff. And a lot of the pictures that he would find in various places on like Google Maps. I mean, Dean considers himself a little bit autistic, and he would find these things, and this is the kind of stuff, right? A lot of us have a little bit
pattern recognition.
Yes, some of it's pattern recognition, but he would point out the inversions of sex magic and how the whole Illuminati and all that, all the secret society cults and all that stuff, it lines up with their I don't know, doctrine, whatever they call it. I don't even know anymore. But also, when you think of like the really like sick people, like Jimmy Seville, he used to go to hospitals and prey on retarded kids and disabled people and older women and people that didn't have the ability to fight back at all, and predators. And I don't want to get fully into this conversation, but when you think about terror, like what they enjoy, and you think about desensitization, so this is desensitization socially and mentally and psychologically and emotionally.
Sorry, my phone rang.
All right. But you're having these guys that are like into pedophilia, into these extreme sexual disgusting things, and they will prey on children that are going to have a much greater fear response to what they are doing to them, and autistic children that don't understand what is being done to them, just like maybe a mentally retarded, and I'm talking like chromosome in this case, children will react differently to being tortured and preyed upon, because it is so outside their brain's ability to understand what is being done to them. So that's something to point out here, because of the sickness of these pedophilia cults and what's going on in the world, and it's being done out in the open, like Dean was pointing out, where they find their places, like, and using tools like Google Maps, and they have pictures just like what we're showing here, using these color schemes. And
again,
autism,
desensitizing.
yes, and
Yeah,
but
Lisa,
it's also like coding is what I'm trying to say with like the cults. It's a
Look what's
code.
happening in
It's a
our
language.
society politically. There's no accountability. So victims are seeing predators having no accountability in our current time frame. So the younger generation, again, back to the desensitization, they're going to be like, oh, there's not any there's not any consequence for these actions. Society's okay with these things, which obviously isn't the case for the mass majority, but it's what in social media is being promoted.
I remember one of my friends on Facebook, he posted this link to this article, and there was some person saying, instead of prosecuting, sexual crimes against children, you should have empathy and mercy for the predators. And that's disturbing that there's people that who don't think that that's evil.
They're blurring the line between these groups and perversions. They're blurring the line between like the MAPs, the minor attracted persons, and the neurodivergent kids, right? They're creating a new, very twisted demographic that is being rewarded and celebrated and encouraged because they're being told it is the liberation of their true self, whoever that is, and they're creating these avatars. And I mean, just like Booma, you were saying with the colors that they choose, right? The pinks and the blues, the pale pinks and the pale blues Lisa was talking about in the chat are the MAPS colors, but they're also the transgender colors. One of the GIFs I sent you was of a kid with big eyes, and it says something about, I mean, it conflates transgenderism with stares at you with my autistic trans eyes. Like, who's sending that to who? Who's sending that, and who is receiving that? Who's using these GIFs? What's their mindset? Who are they going to vote for? Are they taking the vaccines? Are they scared of people who are unvaccinated? Are they reactive? Are they impulsive? Are they going to be able to,
Right, and this is mixing it in with almost like alien-like. I agree with those kinds of eyes and the way that it looks. They're also mixing it in some kind of alien messaging, and then you got the like Charlie was saying, that kind of blue and that kind of pink inverted. That's where you get into the Epstein Island stuff and the reason that he had the white and the blue and some of the color combinations that you saw on Ellen DeGeneres and in Hollywood with some of these guys that are helping promote this kind of bullshit. That's a possibility too, Pandas.
the MAPS colors, the minor attracted person's colors, pale pink and pale blue. Like, I can't believe they get to have a flag.
Right.
Why
I
are
call
we?
them for what they are, predators.
Yeah, that's right, sir. Amen.
I think it makes sense, right? Like, every generation, you know, the more quote unquote fucked up you are, the more chances you have of getting better, right? And like you said, Charlie, you touched on how they all have main character syndrome and everything. And it's like, yeah, well, you know, you can go ahead and live in your fantasy, you can create your own world, and that's fine, you know. So I feel like when you fuck up the youth from a young age, you know, they're going to drift towards your so-called solutions, and in this case it would be more technologic enslavement, you know, getting into the devices, you know, the VR headsets, you know, the AI girlfriends, the talking to the AI, you know, all these things, you know, it's and you're already having all your dopamine receptors smashed literally when you I saw this video where this little, I think she was like 14, this little girl was wearing an EEG headset, and she was watching some show. It might have been Cocomelon or anything, and like the colors are so bright, and just the colors in the movie, in the show, is hitting her dopamine receptors. So
Yes.
by the time your brain's even developed, you're having this dopamine overload. So okay, now you're done watching Cocomelon, what are you going to? You can go on TikTok or on Instagram with the reels, and gradually, you just get more and more adheres to their system, because it takes a lot of courage to go out and get natural dopamine, right? Go run,
Right.
go exercise, so these are my thoughts a little bit on what we're just discussing.
I love that you're here. So good. So good. Yeah, no, I think what we were kind of touching on is the stimming. And that is you can go into the GIFs on Telegram too and just type in stimming, and it's just a bunch of people, stimming, flapping, because, or the fidget toys where everyone's, and this isn't just autistic children, everyone is looking to, there's a sensory seeking, pleasure seeking thing that happens when people are in fear, right? You want to put in a pacifier. You got to stimulate yourself to calm yourself down. And that's, I think the absolute boom of stim toys targeted at children and young adults, to just calm down their central nervous system with their sense of touch. That's indicative to me of mass neuroinflammation or just neuromodulation. But if you're modulating your neurons, then you're irritating them, which would be inflammatory to cause a transition, an augmentation. There it is, right? This is all augmentation and eugenics.
Yeah, I'm really stoked to have guys like Moses on here. He's a younger generation, but also just some new faces coming into these conversations. Heather had to pop off, take care of something real quick. And then Mike had something that he had to take care of too. That's why he popped off. But I'm really glad to have some of you here, Amiel, and then Cass for the first time joining these conversations, because they're super important. And everybody that is in this community, I think, has a lot of passion to expose a lot of this stuff. Like I think it was Slamtastic and Charlie and all of us are saying, like, why do MAPS, which shouldn't even be an acronym, that is it shouldn't be anything. It should just be, you're a fucking predator that we don't want in society. Why does a minor attracted person get put into? And a lot of the people that are in the gay and lesbian communities and stuff like that, they don't want this either. They're disgusted by a lot of the stuff that's being added to what they fought for their rights. And I'm not against them. I believe in free will. I believe in freedom of choice. At some point, though, there is barriers. There are things that it just, you're perverting now what these people fought for, and that maybe well by, regardless of whether you agree with their life choices and their choices to be with whoever they want to be with. These are the kind of things where it's going so far where it's like children are now being preyed upon, and now you have a whole percentage of children coming out for some reason on a spectrum of autism. Why? And that's the question. And they're trying to blame it on all kinds of stupid things when we know what's going on. There's never been this many inoculations happening for babies and young children than ever. Come on. I mean, like, you don't have to be a conspiracy theorist to just look at the point blank facts of what they're doing and then add it up. You can literally look at the correlation between the increase in these injections with the increase in autism and when it happened, and be like, maybe there's something there.
We're not ascending or evolving. That's not what's happening, obviously. But that is what they want us to believe it is, because they know that we're going to notice that shit's changing. So they have to be like, no. It's cool. You're just ascending. It's cool. You're just evolving. This is humans moving into, a more empowered state of being, a more, do as thou wilt sort of universe.
Yeah, I remember it was about maybe 12 years ago. This young couple, they had just got married, and they invited me to come to their house, and we were talking about different things. And so the husband, he's like, yeah, sometime in the near future, we're thinking about having kids. And he's like, do you know about the schedule for children? I said, no. I said, but I know it's a lot of shots. He said, yeah, when a child was born, he said, at that time, he said, from birth until about they're 5 years old, he said they're scheduled to have 60 different vaccines. I said, so that's one a month. He's like, yeah. And so my mom had worked in the medical industry before she got down. And I went back home and informed her. And she's like, when I was born, she's like, if it was that way, she said it would have been no way that would have happened. She said the main three at that time, she's like, yes, but anything beyond that, she said it would have been no way she would have allowed that to happen. And so, I don't know. It's we gotta start, looking into things. There are some scientists who are, publicly talking about this.
They are. If anybody starts hitting the mark too much, though, man, they get disappeared quick. I'll just say that. We've seen it happen over and over with various people that actually try to stand up to this. And then there's a lot of false heroes. We saw that with the truther movement, where there was a bunch of doctors that came out and acted like they were our heroes. And the next thing you know, they become podcasting peddlers of snake oil, of methylene blue, of zeolites, of all this stuff, that it's just some new cure, like this, like God just created it right now or something like that. It's like, so you got to be careful about some of these things. But yeah, we need, that's what you see with Sabrina calling a lot of the people that know about this, especially in the medical field, and people that are aware of what's coming in with healthcare 4.0, 5.0, all the different things they're bringing in at rapid pace. Say something. Get in unison. Like, have some freaking cojones. Be like Miss Cojones and have some cojones and fucking stand up. And we're here for you. Like, that's what we're creating this community for. I've even when I had some thoughts and I was still hoping that there were some good guys up in the government and all that kind of stuff, regardless of that, I think it's up to we the people, and it's up to we the people that are also in prominent positions, that know things, that see things. That's why I do a lot of work with Biscuits. He saw some shit in the pharmaceutical manufacturing side of things. And that's why he's no longer a part of that. That's why he fights hard to expose this shit and expose corruption and call for the execution of actually holding treason accountable. And so when we're doing these things, we're creating a community that is prepared to embrace people that are actively and authentically telling the truth, because we will back them and we will support them. And while this might be a small platform, at least I'll be part of helping to hopefully protect them in a social way, in a sense of getting them out there and getting the information out there so that people can know what's going on. And if the younger generation is going to be brainwashed, there is hope, as we have Moses here and some younger people that have been showing up in the live chats, and some of the people have been showing up in the classes that Sabrina's been teaching. And that gives me hope, because we need everyone. Because they're inoculating the shit out of the younger people, and now we're discarding the older population on the other end of things.
Yeah.
And they both need each other.
Yes.
They need each other. And it's wild how disconnected they are. They cannot communicate with one another. I don't know where the bridge is.
And neither one of those demographics largely can take care of themselves at the moment, right? The
Oh my
boomers
God.
are on their way out, and the young people can't leave the house without a nervous breakdown. So it's on Gen X. We're just sitting here just trying to
The
like,
ones who didn't care, is that what you meant? We're like, we don't care what happens to you. Oh, yeah, okay, now it's on us.
Wait. Did someone get called? Cass, what's your generation?
I don't know. So I am 39 going into 40.
You're a
I was born
millennial.
in
millennial.
Okay.
I'm right on
Um,
the. I'm technically a millennial, but I am more Gen X.
I feel that in my soul. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was,
Right.
for the most part raised by my grandparents. So I have an array of that broadband of being able to relate, but the
Yeah.
disconnect is real, for real. They can't take care of themselves. You're right. Neither side. So what do
And
you
Gen
do?
X, like we like grew up playing NES or Atari or whatever, and we're just like, we have to land this plane that's in nosedive right now. That's on us.
Again, going back to Terminator, I'm like, wait, we all saw this movie, right?
Yeah.
Am I the only one? Am I leading the blind and
Yeah.
I'm using it off of
Yes!
movie clips? Is that what's happening? Somebody wake me up.
Yeah.
It seems like this is the real life, though. I don't know.
It's legit. I mean, it's biblical, I guess, the blind leading the blind, but the blind leading the blind might not be necessarily a negative thing in some contexts because we're a little bit blind, but we're still going to pull it off. Or
I'm like, am I the adult here? We
with
need
that
an
hope.
adult.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, you're the adult. And I'm like, no, I'm not
Yeah.
the adult.
I hate adulting.
Find another
as they
adult.
say. I don't want an adult. I mean, you want to see some adulting? Get in my Telegram chat and watch all the Booma doll memes and stuff.
You're like, this
Charlie's
is
leading
adulting
that
101
charge,
for
making
us. Are
sure
you
it doesn't
sure?
go away. We gotta have fun, or else we're gonna fail. If we
Or
don't
I'd
have some
cry.
fire
Yeah.
and some laughter, and be able to be a community that isn't doom and gloom, then we will fail.
Yeah. And going back to the terminology, Sabrina's 110% correct. We have got to start I'm constantly being told you have to use the right terms so that we can all talk about the same thing. And it's insane what has happened to language, vocabulary, and communication within the 3 generations as well.
Yeah, kids pretending they're adulting. They don't want to adult, man. I want to go back to being a kid sometimes, man, where I used to be able to pick up a stick and it was whatever I wanted it to be, man. I was a ninja. It was a bow staff. If I was just playing, and now I don't even like the idea of playing war, but when you're a kid and you're brainwashed by all the movies to think that you're a badass, and that's what they want you to think because you're playing video games, and all these characters come to mind like the Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger badass characters, Wesley Snipes. It is whatever it is, but you could pick up a stick and it'll be something awesome. And now that's not even, I don't even know if kids can relate to that. Not all. I'm sure that there's some kids that are like, that still get the benefit from climbing trees and using their imagination. But it's so easy to pick up a device and get sucked into this digital world. And in those digital worlds, like we were talking about just a little bit earlier, that made me think of some of the videos. I think Biscuits and I were looking at them. Some of the most viral videos are shorts of people playing like Grand Theft Auto. And I think the new one will come out later this year. And I got into that. But they are literally like doing the most insane things. And these are the clips that people love to watch. And that's like where you go into a world that's becoming more realistic. And like they are throwing like, they're setting up a whole thing where they'll throw a bunch of like C4 onto like a plane and they'll put gasoline down and then they'll shoot it and it'll just blow up. Or they have like all kinds of like insane modes where like there's one and they're entertaining. I'm not going to lie. Because I can separate between the reality and non-reality. A lot of kids can't.
Yeah.
Autistic kids really cannot.
Yeah.
And that's the issue that we've been talking about here. But some of the most viral videos are people doing that insane shit in this reality where you get away with doing what you can't do in the real world. But the distinction for some kids between the real world and the digital world is that there's a tougher time distinguishing between the two, and people are doing dumbass shit.
Yeah.
And they want them doing dumbass shit. And there's freaking cameras everywhere. So you're literally catching dumbass shit happening all the time. And that's also what people love watching. They doom scroll and watch the most disturbing stuff. And that is desensitizing once again. And this goes up not just the kids, this goes up all the generations.
Yeah. It's the attention economy. So the more outrageous you are, the more attention you're going to get. And we knew that with Tide Pods.
I forgot
What's up,
about
Mark?
Tide Pods.
Welcome.
How's it going, man? Sorry I'm late.
No, it's all good, man. Welcome. I've never met you before, but welcome. And I'm glad you're on the panel. And I don't know if you've caught anything that we've talked about so far.
No, I was actually helping an elderly gentleman reinforce a structure on his property. So,
well, God bless you, because that transitions right into what we're talking about, is taking care of our youth and taking care of the older population, because they're being discarded.
Mm-hmm.
So
You're doing the work. Good job.
right.
Yeah.
So welcome. Well, we'll see if we can transition you more into some of this. Is like, we've been covering some stuff that's not so fun to like show and talk about, but that has to be talked about. And then I don't know where you were going, Charlie, but it was like Tide Pods. That was a freaking crazy thing for a while, huh?
Yeah, just talking about the attention economy and how it's all about getting the clicks and likes. So that's what people are, they're marketing whatever they can to accrue that currency.
Right. And then, Mark, we were talking a lot about the autistic spectrum and the increase in autism and the promotion, it seems, of it in a lot of ways. And it ties into a lot of various things we were showing, and I'll pull up another one. Some of these very disturbing memes that have been that go around. It's been going on for a little while here, but this is the kind of stuff that we're up against. And up in the top left there kind of looks like freaking Slender Man, which we talked about, I think, on the last one. But some of these demonic, ghost-like premonitions or things that kids see. Like when I was growing up, I saw something similar to that. We had Mike, who just left a little earlier. He brought up, I had never heard of the Benadryl Hat Man. I guess a lot of people saw that. Maybe that has something to do with the technology out there where they're putting these concepts in our minds. But either way, that is right there on the screen with the pink and the green, which is exactly the kind of stuff that Dean was constantly pointing out, Dean of Sound for Sound. And now he's in prison, and it didn't even have much of a following, but it seemed like he was hitting the nail on the head, because this is the kind of stuff that they're putting into the kids' minds.
Yeah, was he got a headset on? I don't know.
And he's holding a gun. This
Yeah.
is like I mean, it's not quite Call of Duty, but it kind of is Call of Duty kind of style, where you got that first person shooter or something mixed with pink and autism and hearts, and then so cute, and the color combination is exactly the color combination that ties right into the cult that leads to the Epstein stuff.
It's giving Suicide Squad, right?
Yeah.
It's giving, like, we're going to have fun being as degenerate and destructive as possible.
And they're having the peers as a society in public school to be tolerant of it. You know, they're not allowed to speak out about it. They're not allowed to make them feel indifferent or to say that it makes them uncomfortable. They have to be tolerant of this behavior. Back to the sanitization.
Yeah, if one of the kids in your class thinks he's a cat, then you better fucking have a litter box or you're going to jail. That's a little hyperbolic, but that's where we're leaning.
In some areas, yes, that's child abuse. They will get you for child abuse for not conforming to that child's belief system or whatever they call it.
At one of the jobs I had, there was a young lady who I was told by some of my coworkers who she considered herself a cat. So
yes, it's not only kids. My sister works in the health industry and had somebody that she hired 30s, I think she was. This young lady was in her 30s, you know, not that old, but not a child, but identified as a cat and would meow. And
Yeah, and she was an adult, and she had a child that was like maybe 10 or something.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
It's all over the place. I mean, we're generally, this community is looking towards different things when we're doing our research. We're trying to really like higher raise our understanding of the big picture, but not everybody's doing that, and there are these black hole whirlpool corners of the internet that you're just sucked into this chaos. And I think that if you're more vulnerable to it neurologically, that's where you end up, because that's where you get the stims. That's where you're having the autistic boy across the street. When he was about 14 and 15, he was obsessed with watching those videos of people who just eat, and there's no sound. It's just them chewing and just eating like lobster. And like, he would just watch those all the time because of the stimulation. So there's a million different ways we as a human race seek stimulation. But if you're self-soothing, which is where they've got people largely right now, is in that self-soothing, whether it's alcohol or, oh, here we go.
So what is this molecule science shit? Live, laugh, stim. So like you brought it up a couple times, Charlie, and somebody asked if Charlie has a channel. She doesn't currently have a channel. She definitely has the knowledge and ability to have one, but man, she's learning from just this experience that it's not easy, man. This shit is not fucking easy. If people only understood how much you get attacked for like trying to expose this kind of shit. But go ahead and explain. What is the stimming thing? So
stimming is it's self-soothing behavior to pacify feelings of anxiety or discomfort. Everybody stims a little bit. We like I rub my knees a lot because it stimulates the palms of my hands, and it just like soothes me, right? Some people chewing gum, smoking cigarettes, that's all stimming. But when you're more neurodivergent, sometimes that stimming looks more like flapping or hitting your head on the wall, just trying to distract from, the torment, really, the neurological storms, the electrical storms, because the electrical activity in their brains is glitchy, and that doesn't feel good. So, I mean, there's things people do nutraceutically to sort of calm the central nervous system, doctors who work specifically with the neurodivergent and autistic communities to calm the storm and the brain on fire so that they can have a better quality of life. But we're seeing it ubiquitously now. Everybody's got some level of just like low-key agitation at the very least, that we're trying to just, whether you're doing yoga or whatever, we're all trying to hold our center as the realm is being perturbated.
What is that molecule?
It looks like, doesn't it look like adrenochrome because it has the bunny ears?
It is
I was
similar.
wondering that too. Sorry, I didn't want to like.
But this does conflate the sciences with the neurodivergence, which is tracks perfectly with my experience growing up in the Silicon Valley, where all the neurodivergent types in my community were being funneled into NASA, Lockheed, all the Genentech, all the biotech firms that were, coming up in the 80s when I was a kid, that have just ballooned now into what we now know is like a military operation on the human race.
So it's caffeine. That molecule is caffeine.
Oh, that's definitely better.
Huh.
I just looked it up. I'll hold this down. I'll show you guys so we can confirm it on screen. It is this one. Oops. I think this is the same thing. I want it big. Show me it big. Let me pull it back up. Big. Show me it big. Awkward. It's weird hearing myself. All right, here we go. Molecule of caffeine, bonds highlighted in blue are most suited, blah, blah, blah. So you can see it on there, just confirmation that that is indeed take a look at that, and take a look at the one that is on that I guess meme. It is caffeine. Let me pull it back up. So you got caffeine, you got science, you got stimming, you got stimulation. Would be caffeine is very stimulating, especially young kids drinking caffeine. And then
She's
you got
the cat ears. You
Right.
know, for a good 15 years, the kids have been led slowly into the hybridization vibe, right? Identifying, like, my kids' friends like had like a foxtail they would wear and cat ears. And now we've just really moved into now the twin spirits in the LGBTQIA2S. That's what the 2S stands for, is twin spirits, where your body is inhabited by not only your own soul, but the soul of like a wolf. Live, laugh, LARP, right?
Like the originals?
I don't know
Like
that
the
show, but
TV
I've seen,
show?
is that what it's about?
Well, it's, yeah.
Is it a cartoon or what is it?
It's not a cartoon. It's a TV series. I watched it years and years ago, and it's about combining kind of like what she just said. It's the originals, and I think they're coming back out actually with another sequel. So that's interesting. I think I just saw like a 2 or whatever. Yes,
This?
that. Yeah, that.
This looks creepy as fuck.
I really liked it.
It's a vampire. So the supernatural drama television series. It is a spin-off of the Vampire Diaries. How dare you?
I didn't watch The Vampire Diaries, so maybe I
Don't
should.
lie.
But I'm sorry.
He said no.
Yeah, no, I didn't get into that. But yeah, there may be something in a linkage with that. I'm not sure. I don't know, but
There's actually another TV show that fits what you guys are talking about a little bit better than the originals. It's called Grimm. And it's about it's about. I will actually share the link.
Okay.
In Rumble here.
Sweet Tooth too. There's a lot of hybrid shows.
Yeah.
If anybody knows of hybrid shows, throw them in the chat because there's a bunch.
Yeah,
Like
it's
Grimm.
basically taking a lot of creatures out of like Greek mythology and whatnot, throwing in a few more things as well. And they name it Grimm because it's after Grimm fairy tales, and the Grimm is actually in the show is an individual who takes it upon himself to take care of the human hybrid creatures that don't play nicely with others.
Here's the cast. I've seen a little bit of Grimm. After Portland Homicide Detective. Oh, this is just. Is this the pilot? So
well, that'll get you the entire series if you want to watch it. If that's the link that I sent.
You're Hoktar?
Yeah, that's me.
Bro.
I show up as Hoktar on Rumble. I show up as Symbiotic Solutions in Odyssey, I think it is.
Yeah, dude, you're a Link master. Link faster.
Yeah. You
So
were mentioning
this is
topics.
about that are descended from an elite line of criminal profiles known as Grimms. He increasingly finds his responsibilities as a detective at odds with his new responsibilities as a Grimm. They're from elite bloodline? Are they like fucking vampires and shit or what?
No, they just seem to have excellent strength and sort of a sense of when somebody's a hybrid or not. It's almost like their pheromones trigger a response from the hybrids. And as a result of that, their faces kind of morph whenever he kind of interacts with them. And they can't hide it from a Grimm. They can hide it from other people, but they can't hide it from a Grimm.
Interesting. Teen Wolf. Moses says is another one.
Yeah, it's these I think high school or college students, and there's a guy that turned into a wolf. There's this girl that she's a banshee. I don't know if you guys know what that means, but you basically have like these like super abilities, superpowers, or whatever you want to call it. And yeah, and they're just pushing that on the youth because I mean, you know, from what they tell us with evolution, right? They tell you, hey, you come from monkeys, right? So when a young person looks at that, they're able to be like, okay, based from where we came from to where we are now with the tech, it's great, you know, it's improvement. So let's embrace it. You know, you can turn into all these different things. You know, you can get taller, you can get prettier, whatever the case may be. So we're naturally going to be drawn to that. You know, obviously, if you believe the whole monkey story, but yeah.
Yeah, man, I didn't believe in God at all. I even looked at when we were in, I graduated in 2000 from high school, and they were telling us that shit, and I was like laughing my ass off. Like, that I've ever fucking heard. We came from monkeys. Great. I just wanted to point out real quick though, Amiel, you look badass right there.
Badass, man.
Look at you right next to your character
like,
too. Oh shit!
The thumbnail.
Boom! Your fucking thumbnail nailed you, man. You're freaking Hollywood.
Yeah.
Not the bad Hollywood. I'm saying like you're a freaking superstar. Oh man, that's badass. You got the perfect.
I appreciate that very much. Thank you.
Right.
I got to get a later once it's over. Maybe in the Telegram group, you can send me a copy of that or something.
So I'm
Copy
so
of what?
curious. How many of you guys made it to the Sabrina class, or multiple? Did anybody make it to multiple?
Yeah, that a guy named Rick when we did the reunion, he went to 3 classes.
Dang. Okay, was that the most that anybody has yet to attend
heard.
besides? Okay.
I'd like to convince you to come to Canada.
Oh, you're in Canada? Yeah, there's a lot of people that wanted to go. I guess it depends because Velvet came down from Canada. She had an 8-hour trip, went to Ohio class, so she did cross the border, and so it's possible, but it's all up to Sabrina and what they want to decide. Obviously, it'll be interesting to see what she chooses. But then the Pacific Northwest, over on the west side where Heather's at, is the place that they want to get to, and so it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see what they decide to do. Maybe they stay north and they can hit a little bit where people from both Canada and whatnot could come down and make it. Because when I grew up in Washington State, 20 miles south of the Canadian border, and I used to go over to Canada all the time. Now I don't know if I would even try to go across the border, but that's just me.
Well, you could, if you drove across the border, you could take a ferry across to Aberdeen and then drive from Aberdeen to Seattle's probably, well, on a good traffic day, 3.5, 4 hours.
Do you go up into Canada much, Heather?
Nope.
Nah. You know,
I haven't been since I was little. Yeah.
Right. I used to go all the time because you could drink up there at 17, quite a fake idea.
Well, a lot of my friends did.
Drink at 19 at a fake ID at 17 is what I meant.
Right.
Amiel,
a lot of my high school friends did that.
Right. Amiel, what did you want though passed on to you?
You know, like the what you had the picture that you have of us to start the show. You know, you got it. Yeah.
I'll get you that thumbnail for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah. But Mark, go ahead. Did you have anything else to add with Grimm and this stuff?
Not really. I mean, there are a few other shows, that I could point people to that have a similar thing. I also shared into the Rumble another one called Sanctuary. Very similar thing. Again, a lot of it, the creatures tend to come from Greek mythology.
Oh, and then Sweet Tooth. Yeah, I've actually watched.
Yeah,
I think the first. But they have 2 seasons out now. So Sweet Tooth is the one where the kids are like augmented and stuff. Sanctuary. I haven't watched that. Right.
Sanctuary has Amanda Tapping and quite a few of the other actors from Stargate SG-1.
I remember that.
Oh yeah. This one is the Adventures of the Beautiful, Enigmatic, and Always Surprising Dr. Helen Magnus, a brilliant scientist who holds the secrets of a clandestine population called abnormals, a group of strange and sometimes terrifying beings that hide among humans. Magnus seeks to protect his threatened phenomena as well as unlock the mysteries behind their existence. So this is like augmenteds.
You know, they're using technology to cause problems and all. It would be great if, you know, people come up with ways to actually use this technology to actually help people in different ways. I mean, I'm still for getting out into life and living life and doing things, but you know, instead of them always using this for their crazy purposes, we could use it to actually, you know, some people who know more than I do find ways to actually help. At least that's just my thought.
Like Heroes, Save the Cheerleaders, Save the World.
I got into Heroes for a while. I didn't watch it all the way through, but I got really big into that. Was that your jam?
But a lot with abilities.
What's that, Mark?
There's not much to do with hybrids that I can remember in Heroes. It's more about abilities.
Yeah, like superhero kind of stuff. But Cass, did you? So we already know you're into vampires. Were you big into Twilight? Be honest.
No, I wasn't. I really
Don't lie.
I really wasn't into the big Twilight. Well, that was a whole
That was huge.
That was a whole thing. Yeah,
My
I was a
sister was
Marvel
huge into it.
person.
Okay.
I would go to the midnight viewings of all the Marvel stuff. I was huge into Marvel. And now I use Marvel sometimes to quote unquote teach my kid, like Doctor Strange, with all of the energy stuff that I'm learning with Sabrina. I love quoting Doctor Strange. I'm like, just go watch Doctor Strange, you'll get it. And they're like, what? But yeah, no, werewolves and vampires, they weren't really my thing. I guess, you know, the originals though, yeah, that is a thing. So I came from
Yeah.
California, so I'm more about the aliens, you know, Area 51 and all that. That's
What do you
been
think about aliens? You think
that's been wild.
you think there's aliens from outer space?
I mean, illegal aliens of all sorts, right?
Well, there's illegal aliens for sure. What do you think? You think of space aliens that have invaded on here on planet Earth?
Man, I don't know. I'm up for all of it at this point. Like
Anything could happen.
any of it can be true at this point. I know we can't be the only ones out there. You know what I mean? Like that would just be
It's hard to imagine, right?
Main character like, you know.
Yeah, aliens and zombies. I got sucked into a lot of that stuff too. Now, when I think of zombies, all I think of is NPCs. Those are zombies to me.
Yeah.
And
Did
they're
you know that
becoming more and more augmented.
Texas has a brochure in their courtrooms now on how to adhere to a zombie attack. And so that's been wild because I'm like, they're really talking about NPCs. But
Right.
What do you
it is
guys
our
think
reality.
the zombie and alien programming is intended to do? Like in the big picture, is it just sort of like they just want us to presume aliens whenever they do their shit? Kind of like my paranormal experience where when the blinds hit the window magnetically and I immediately thought aliens, you know, because of my own programming. So my point being, there's so much demon, alien, zombie programming that Hollywood CIA programming feeds us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
I had a cousin once who had dated a guy who we call, for the better lack of terms, a test tube child. So his parents couldn't conceive. They were from overseas. They had come to West Coast, paid a bunch of money, and birthed this boy from a test tube. My cousin dated him. His fingernails were really, really long. His joints were, it was odd. He was a nice kid, but there was no connection. So when we talk about autism, when we talk about the disconnect, he was completely disconnected. There was a lack of empathy, very intelligent. He was extremely, extremely intelligent, got full ride with UCLA, was social in certain settings, but you can tell he was very observative and never really fit in. And sometimes I wonder, we have had so much time now with technology. Are these alien conversations that they're speaking about, are they the chemically designed children in the test tubes that we are now having to be integrated into with society and having to have tolerance and acceptance for them because we can't remove them, but they're not technically like us. He was not birthed from a human being. He was birthed in a pod. It was wild. It was dinner conversation for us. But it was a completely different experience. And the animals my grandparents had at the time, 2 cats and a dog, and they did not want to go anywhere near him. So sometimes I wonder, is that what we're being sanitized to the acceptance of what's already into our population?
So would you consider that non-biological? Like that's not a.
Is that what we're saying transhuman is? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. To me, if you don't come out of a physical body in a canal, your experience is so much different. Like is there a
C-section
neurological
baby.
difference between a C-section baby and one who was birthed naturally?
So I heard
I'm a
that.
C-section baby. Careful with your words, Cass.
I'm sorry. I don't think anything. You know what I mean.
I'm just playing. Okay, go ahead, Moses. Sorry.
I heard that when someone's born naturally, right, you get some kind of DMT explosion in your brain or something like that. I might be wrong. Don't quote me on it. Something along those lines, right? But the C-sections babies don't get that, and yeah, it can apparently like it affects your creativity, your visualization, your empathy. But please fact check me on this. I've read it and I just thought about it when you mentioned the C-section babies. But yeah, definitely look into it if it's
Dorian.
What are you saying, Moses?
I'm not saying anything. But yeah, pretty cool observation on mine.
Yeah, I know they're not exposed to the same amount of bacteria to inoculate them immediately, which they say can cause problems just for health, but I wasn't aware of what you shared, Moses, so that's interesting. But of course, I guess if bacteria obviously is intrinsically connected with our neurology, the gut-brain axis, then maybe there would be a neurological repercussion from not being exposed to that bacterium.
Right.
And you have somebody like Dorian.
Putting me down for being a C-section baby. I was an emergency C-section baby, all right?
Well, I'm glad you're here.
We're glad you're here, Booma.
So glad.
I didn't get that vaginal bacteria. Is that what you're saying? I didn't get that good stuff like I needed on my way into this world?
I mean, that's the science.
That's the science. That's unfortunate for me, I guess.
You know, and you'll have to go down that deep rabbit hole for me, but I had read scientifically that they made it illegal for females to give birth in water with dolphins because the sonic waves was keeping the pain from registering neurologically. And quote unquote, these humans were being born with more abilities. So that was interesting. Because if you're giving water birth, the gravity is different, right? So the pain is different. And yeah, well, we all know about wave, sound, and frequency. So I don't know. Another thing to research, I guess.
When I was pregnant with my daughter, I just wanted to be around dolphins. So my husband hooked up a situation for me where I could go to, gosh, it was in San Diego. Is it SeaWorld? Is that what it's called?
Mm-hmm. I mean, there is SeaWorld there, yeah.
So that I could go into the tank with the dolphins, and there was a mother dolphin who had a baby, and she was super curious. I was with some other people, but she was really curious about my tummy because I had to load myself into a wetsuit to get in there, first of all, but she was coming up around my tummy a lot. So there's something very interesting about dolphins and pregnant women, for sure.
Well, with the birth rate going down drastically, and it sounds like they're wanting to do population control.
Yeah.
What does birthing youth into our society look like now? And just like Booma was saying, they've basically taken away that human connection for even sex, it sounds like, for the future generations. So
yeah, that's in Demolition Man. No sex, no actual sex.
yeah, right. Like, come on.
Right. But before we move on too far, we'll get back to the vaginal bacteria if you'd like to. Talking about dolphins and amphibians and some stuff's going on. Mark just shared this with me, so check this out.
Hi, everybody. I'm Benita Peterson, and I am at the National Citizens Inquiry.
Bam! 5 seconds in. What's going on with those eyes?
Event in Edmonton at Church in the Vine, and I invite more.
All right, Mark. I think or you might be muted. Might have to unmute. What do you got for me here on this?
So this is something I've been kind of keeping to myself for quite a while. This is a woman that I know through another woman that I was helping with some political stuff. This woman is from Western Canada. Her name is Benita Peterson. And so because of my affiliation with this other woman, I was following her on Facebook. And one day a live video came of her at a local event in her area. And I caught it while it was live. And yeah, after the first 5-6 seconds, I recognized right away what I was looking at. And I made sure to snag up the video before it could disappear. But in my opinion, like, I watched the entire video, and in my opinion, she recognizes that this is a thing that's happening to her. She blinks and then gets rid of it. But then you'll also notice the rest of the entire video. She seems to be blinking excessively in an attempt to prevent it from happening again. But that's just my take on it.
Do you think this could be like somebody that's been genetically altered?
I think there's a very good possibility. I mean, I guess we're even told that we have the same or similar genetics to other creatures. And really, it's whether or not, it's the field of epigenetics, where it's not just about what genes you have, it's which ones are turned on and off. And actually, you know what? I just thought of another really good show. And it's actually a show that was done by Stan Lee, the guy that did all the Marvel stuff. It's actually called Stan Lee's Superhumans. Yeah. And I'll share that in the Rumble.
I've watched a few of those where people can do extreme things like handle certain, like I think someone got electrocuted like by something that should have killed like hundreds of people and like lived, and then can withstand certain volts of electricity, and then people that can handle like extreme heat. Did you hear that on Facebook?
So there was the host of the show that Stanley chose was the name. The guy's name is Daniel Browning Smith, and he is considered the most flexible man in the world. So he pays this gentleman to go all over the world and interview and get a demonstration of these people doing their different abilities that they have. And each episode includes, I would say, approximately on average 5 different people each episode. Each season has, I don't know how many episodes, and there are multiple seasons. So when you do the math on that, even if you have 5 people at 10 episodes times 5 seasons, you're looking at 50 times 5 seasons. You're looking at 250 different individuals with abilities that most people would consider, impossible. So it just kind of shows you that everybody has something, you know what I mean? And actually, if you kind of look into, there's a superhuman ability that a certain percentage of our population is born with, and it's recognized, and it's called synesthesia. And to put it bluntly, synesthesia is basically like, what people describe as, being born on LSD, because they're born where their senses are melded. So, as I'm speaking to you right now, somebody with synesthesia could also be tasting the words that I'm saying. They could also be seeing shapes in front of them or in their minds. So everybody has different abilities, different focuses, different empathies. And as a result of those focuses and empathies, we all have something. So I learned by the time I was 5 years old that I can dream the future. And I go many other places and do many other things when I go to sleep at night. And I've also had many, many, many other spontaneous experiences.
Were you a natural vaginal birth baby?
Yes, I was.
I, sir, was not. So I don't know what you're talking about. I do not have these abilities. I have been targeted in this group now and judged.
Hey, listen, Booma, I was never breastfed. I had formula, so I think that's probably worse.
See, I was C-section and no breastfeeding, so.
Oh, okay, never mind.
You win again. Make up for it later in life, if you know what I mean.
Uh-huh.
But I think it's different when you're first coming into the world. So.
With synesthesia, it's interesting because sometimes people experience episodes of synesthesia before a seizure or during migraines. So it's definitely a part of the brain that is either being just having overactivity or being agitated, or maybe a part of the brain that's experiencing some degree of neuroinflammation that allows us, or sometimes expands perhaps our perception, but sometimes twists it a little,
So you all are the freaks.
What?
You all are the freaks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, good. Well, we've got that established. Sorry, I didn't mean to change the subject, Mark. You can go ahead and continue. I just wanted to point out once again that I've been targeted for not being a natural vaginal birth baby. And so therefore I don't have these superhuman abilities. So.
Well, the only other thing I was going to add to that is I'm actually extremely curious, and I don't know if I'll ever know, but I'm extremely curious as to what percentage of our population would have things like synesthesia if we were not given the injections and whatnot that we were given very, very early on. I think that the main purpose of the injections we're given early on is to alter our awareness. So
with synesthesia, though, like I'm not sure, because there's 2 camps on synesthesia. Is that a superpower, or is it misfiring of the brain? Because it's very interesting. I love the idea of smelling the number 9, right? Or seeing a sense of touch in my mind's eye or whatever. How they all cross so beautifully. So I think probably people who are more drawn to art like the arts, would be able to make beautiful things out of that experience of just having their wires crossed. So whether or not it is a beneficial adaptation or maladaptation, it can certainly, just like everything God makes, be used to make beautiful things. Like there's opportunity in that. So, but I'm still not sure if I would consider it a superpower per se, or something that has been suppressed because it is indicative of an aberration in normal brain function. That's
It's
just
kind
my
of like a nurture versus nature situation, like your mindset with it, you know?
Well, there is definitely a downside to that superpower, especially if you have, say, a bratty sibling, or you have a mortal enemy or whatever, and say you can taste the words that come out of somebody's mouth, and they just happen to find out that, say, the word cake makes you taste feces, so that they say cake all day long, so all you taste in your mouth is feces. So yeah, there's definitely a downside to that superpower.
Yeah. Once they find your vulnerability and they just have at it. Ooh.
Yeah. That would be very, very nasty.
Yeah. Yeah. This is 6th generation warfare now.
Hey, Mark, did you say you were able to dream the future?
Yes, sir, I did. Yeah,
So,
I've been doing
You
that
caught
off and
that
on.
too, huh?
Yeah, so would that be considered like a deja vu, or is that actually like full on dreaming the future, in your opinion?
Oh, this is full on dreaming the future, and the really great thing for me, it doesn't happen often. I've only done it intentionally a couple times. It seems to be a scenario, and it's not just the dreaming the future, but it's kind of like I go to sleep at night and I'm sent to different places to do different things, and sometimes I dream the future. And the really, really great thing about it for me, learning that when I was 5 years old, was the thing that I dreamt did not actually happen. So I do know that it can change. But I dreamt at 5 years old, I dreamt that I was out at recess and some kid came up to me and pantsed me in the schoolyard. And just like the very next day, I found myself randomly. It wasn't like I chose it. I found myself in the exact same location that I was supposed to be in, but the event never actually happened. Now, you can just say that that's a fluke, or maybe I chose to go there, but I was only 5 years old. I did not choose to go where I went. Since then, I've had many other instances where I've dreamed the future. The main one that I can give is I dreamed one of the tsunamis that hit Japan. And because of how vivid it was, I could actually tell you where in Japan I was at the time. I was somewhere in the northern tip of the island, because when I saw the wave come in, it was coming from the left-hand side, and the wave could only come from the ocean. So when you kind of put two and two together there, you can find out where you're at. Now, there's also, most of the time when I dream the future, I don't actually get enough information to do anything about it. So I've even dreamed, one time I dreamed about a woman named Beverly that ended up getting raped in a basement at a house party. All I got was her name. I didn't get where it was. I didn't get when it was going to happen. That's one of the more frustrating aspects about having a gift like that. So there's always a downside. Actually, that makes me think of another really good show if you're just talking abilities. There's one called Alphas, and that is what they actually highlight. And actually, you were talking about autism earlier. One of the characters in the show actually has autism, and his ability is to perceive the electromagnetic spectrum. So without any technology, he can access just technology using his own body. So he can pick up cell signals and all kinds of stuff.
So right there, you're talking about what we were just talking about, which is the joining of superhuman mentality, the superheroes that we've been programmed with the autism spectrum. And that's the trend that we're seeing, that we're witnessing everywhere. The encouraging of looking at neurodivergence as and like Sabrina always says, like they're giving us back our abilities, right? And it's kind of, they're kind of sputtering perhaps a little bit, but we're starting maybe to have more expansion of consciousness. I completely, like, Mark, that's really, like, those stories about your dreaming. Like, I've heard so many precognitive dream stories that I can't write that off at all. So something is helping people see around corners in their brain, and that's probably something they want to suppress, but it's sputtering back to life with these systems. I don't know. I'm totally thinking out loud right now. I apologize.
Well, no, you're on the right train of thinking, and I think part of, they actually seem to want autistic brains, and I think the reason is you have less autonomy, but you have, you know, the height of your perceptual capabilities in a way. So I don't think I have the link anymore because I had to recover from a major computer crash. But I did have a link that I shared previously in other lives that related to using the brain as a computer. They're starting to use brain cells because they know that our brains are more efficient than anything that they can build. So my thoughts are that an autistic brain, you know, would probably make an even better machine more efficient than the typical human brain.
Yeah, because it gets a lot of the emotions and other stuff out of the way where we're processing those kinds of things. They don't have to process those kinds of things. That's why they do tend to have like special abilities, mental abilities, like in areas like math, memorization, facts. They can remember various things that most people can't keep in their brains. That's fascinating. Just because we're kind of on this, the link that you shared was still the Stan Lee one, but I pulled it up so people could see about the Alpha show, that is. But have you guys heard of this gentleman? Anatoly, I think. I don't know how you say it. But this guy goes into gyms. He's a power lifter, but he pranks these people. But just watch this, and then you'll see. Like, he's not a real big guy, yet he can outdo these bigger dudes. Now, he must just have super compact muscles, but it's interesting.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I just want to ask you, like, how do you use the fake weights? No. Because if you will make like sound, if you heard this, like this is
the main deal, bro. It's not a fake weight, it's a real weight. You think it's fake weight, Max?
Yeah. Because this looks like this is what I said, guys. It's fake. No, guys. I don't know. Maybe you're joking with me, but why you use?
I can't even do it.
Good joke.
So I just wanted to like he has a whole bunch of videos where he goes in there and it's like these super big guys. Like, look, he's carrying this huge freaking dumbbell. This is crazy.
Hi guys, I bring the dumbbell. Nice one. Mister, is it okay? I will do with you exercise.
This way?
Yeah.
You're up there. It's heavy. You need muscles, bro. Yeah. Muscles. Come back in a few years, bro.
Yeah. Few years?
A few years. Not yet.
Yeah.
Have some milk.
Okay.
Your mom to give you some.
I will come back. You will be here?
We'll be here.
Hi guys. I bring the dumbbell little bit bigger than you. If you don't mind, guys, I will just do here with you. This one my favorite dumbbell. Honestly, like, I like this. Hi guys.
Like, how is he able to do it? I get that he's like a professional like bodybuilder at real, and he's hiding it with the janitor thing, but he's still not a big guy. Like it's obvious he's not a big guy.
Right.
And
I've
he's
seen him before,
literally
actually.
making like these guys that are just tanks look stupid in gyms. How
Well,
is
that
he able
mop?
to do that? I don't care if you're a professional bodybuilder or not, or a power lifter, I guess is what it is. He has some superhuman ability. His muscles are different. Even he's got it
It
where
has to
like
be.
I've seen his legs where they don't look like they're much bigger than mine. Yet he can lift these supremely huge fucking weights.
I've seen one where that mop that he uses, he'll
That's what I
like
was-
set it down and walk away,
It's,
and they
it's
can't even move it.
pounds. So he hands it over to somebody like, hold my mop. And he hands it to him, and they like big guys will like drop it because they're expecting just a light mop. It's like 75 pounds, and he's just using it like it's normal mop. Well, how is
crazy.
this guy able to do that?
I don't
shit?
know.
You see that dumbbell? That fucking dumbbell. I don't even think that's a. Is that a? There's no one that actually uses those kinds of dumbbells, right? You made
I've never
that
seen anything that big ever.
right for a dumbbell.
Not a dumbbell. Again, but it has a much longer bar. If that's never seen anything like that, or somebody curl like that. No way. No way.
Yeah.
Like
He's
it
got
was
the
nothing.
little-
He just made it look like it was nothing.
Yeah, he just comes in and it's just like, oh hi guys. I don't know what
Yeah.
nationality he is or whatnot. He's a funny guy. He comes in, oh hi, oh yeah. He's like he's clapping, and when these big guys get these big lifts, he's like, good job. He's like, but I need to move this weight, and they're like, bro, you can't move that weight. He's like, okay, and then he picks it up with like one arm and moves it aside and starts mopping underneath it. He'll pick it up and put it over his head when they just like maxed out and they're like huge dudes. It's like crazy, man. That's that superhuman shit. Like I don't care if he's a professional or not. Like his muscles are different. Something's different about that guy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's obvious because he's got like a huge YouTube and people look at him like, yeah, Juxta would definitely say it's steroids. I don't think so, man. I mean, he could be using them, but I think it's one of the things like what Mark is talking about, these certain abilities that certain people have.
The rumor is that Tom Brady was a test tube baby too. I mean, and all these, freak basketball athletes.
Yeah, LeBron James.
Yeah.
Too perfect as far as a size goes.
Juxtaposition could chime in on, the doping and cycling, and just those guys never look okay. They never look well. The cyclers.
Right. And Juxta said that I think he was doing some race or whatever, and he said he was just wrecked afterwards. He was doing it with these professionals, and like they were gonna go out to dinner. He's like, bro, I can't even hardly walk. And he gave him some cream that he did try, and he put it on his legs, and he felt like he could go do the race again. They have certain drugs that no one is aware of. And that's why he says they're all on PEDs. They're all on something because that's how these guys roll. And like the guys that have won, like one guy he was talking about, I can't remember their names. It's never really been my sport, but he has like 5 world championships, like Tour de France or whatever it is. And he asks them, where do you keep them? Oh, they're in a shoebox, like in a closet somewhere. Because like, yes, you beat other people that are also on drugs, but you know that you're not naturally winning anything. You're fucking cheating better than the other cheaters. Like you outwardly look like an awesome human being that trained your ass off, and he did. They all do, but they're training on the substances that guys like Juxtaposition wouldn't do because that's cheating. Gives them some kind, gives them a massive advantage. That guy might.
And that's the whole point.
Maybe. But I'd be interested.
But then again, there's consequences for all of that. So
there is later on in life, absolutely. Not even that much later. If you look at the WWE stars, those ones came out a while ago, where the guys were basically their testicles were shrinking, and then the women were growing clitorises that look like penises. because of the drugs that they were taking back in the day. Now the drugs have gotten better since then, but these are like people like in what, the 80s, 90s, the WWF guys that now is WWE, and the women, they were taking all the steroids and stuff that was causing men's testicles to shrink and women's clitorises to grow like penises.
And now that's goals.
Right. Yeah. It's like addicts. They want the kill bags, the ones that are like they could possibly die from, because that's going to give them the best high, or they're just going to die. But when you're that addicted, you don't give a fuck anymore. And that's what always scared me. Like, I was an alcoholic and I got hard into that. Do some drugs, but not some of the bigger street drugs. You get to the point where you don't care if you're going to die or live or whatever. You just want to feel that high, like you only felt like maybe a few times, because when you hit that high, your brain can only get so high and have that experience, and then from there on, you're chasing the dragon. But you would think. Now. So yeah, so they on the news, they'll be like, 5 people died in this area of drug overdoses, and like all the drug dealers are like going to that area trying to get those bags. You would think like they would be like, all right, that's like where you don't want to buy the drugs. I was in rehab and these people were telling me like, no, that's where we rush to try to get those bags. And it's like, it's just like this, like, I mean, I'm sure that the women don't necessarily like having a clitoris that size, but maybe it's like a trophy of you being superior in so many ways, and now you're different than human. You're more human than human.
Well, chicks who weight lift, like, it's a sign of like nice lift when you piss yourself a little bit, because the pelvic floor, under all that pressure, the bladder gets squished, and then women, I don't know if it happens to men too, but like it's a thing with women, like using that as points. It's weird. What a time to be alive.
I know, right? Oh my gosh, all the anomalies. Heather, would you like to say something?
Well, I was going to say that there's a reason why they make it. Obviously, it's not illegal, but against the rules, right? For them, they're not supposed to be able to take those performance enhancing drugs. They're supposed to get kicked out when they get caught doing that kind of stuff. Used to be a thing. Mark McGuire. I mean, I could name a few back in the day, but like, where did that go? It's still like against the rules, but now it's kind of bragged about and it's okay. Like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
Well, it's like the same thing with Lance Armstrong, who won the Tour de France 5 years in a row or whatever.
Right. Yeah, there's several people that, I mean, it was a thing. I remember it being a thing in the 90s, though, specifically in baseball. A lot of people
Barry
were getting...
Bonds and Mark McGuire were breaking the home run record. Sammy Sosa was also in that.
Yeah,
so there was like 3 of them that were like all in this like home run race, doing things, breaking records they had never seen. And then it breaks that it's a scandal where they've been taking performance enhancing drugs.
Mm-hmm.
But the truth of the matter is they were just taking the better ones. And I think other people got pissed. I don't know. What did they do to expose that? Because they're all taking them. Like, I can't remember which comedian it was, but they just were making a joke. Like, why is everybody so mad at Lance Armstrong? Our guy taking drugs beat your guys taking drugs. They're all
well, that was just it.
Drugs.
But after that all happened, it really quieted down. And I don't remember really hearing about anybody being tested or anything after that. It just kind of like, because I think everybody was testing positive.
And they were trying to figure out if you were a boy or a girl, trying to play on another girls' team or whatever, because then that became the big thing, right?
Oh yeah, that used to be, yeah, you couldn't do that. That was not okay.
Do what?
Whenever the Olympics were running and they were trying to figure out who had a sex change before being admitted into the Olympics so that it would be a quote unquote fair shot.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's why we didn't hear about the drug situation so much with the Tour de France after Lance, was because then they were desanitizing us from yeah.
Right. The Olympic Games has always been, I think, just like a satanic, like I think they I think they're just all doing orgies and freaking, and they're just like the freaks of each country that are like genetically, scientifically, and everything altered. And I think a lot of the females that have records were actually males. That's just my take. I don't know if it's true or not, but I think there's when you watch them now, just the ceremonies, they are satanic as fuck.
I agree with you 100% there. All of them look like that now. It's creepy.
They're all
Overtly.
ritual.
Similar to that CERN thing they did, that whole production that they had done, everything. And the stuff they do on the runways now. I mean, it's just everything is kind of turned that direction.
Even the soccer games, you know, that's been big in the country. For the
Yeah, I didn't watch any of it, but here in the United States, the first time we ever hosted the what's it called?
FIFA.
Yeah, FIFA World Cup. World Cup.
World Cup.
We had World Cup in San Jose like a few years ago also.
A game or the champion? I mean, this is the first time with championships, was it then?
I don't know. It might. I'm just gonna shut.
I don't pay attention to it. I'm sorry. I'd like good old Ted Lasso brought it into the United States. You guys hear about that movie or show?
Mm-mm.
There's a show called Ted Lasso. Moses is smiling like he knows. No? Okay.
I don't. Yeah, no. Doesn't ring any bells.
He's just laughing at you.
Here, I'll show it on the screen. He was laughing. I thought he
It
had
was like a dry comedy, right?
I don't know if it's a dry comedy, but the main character is he's quite likable because he's just a good old guy from like, you know, middle America kind of thing, and he goes over and he starts he's supposed to like I think they want him to lose and then he ends up winning, but he's just a nice guy in all ways, and it's hard not to like him kind of a thing. Played by this guy right here, Jason Sudeikis. I don't know how to say it.
I'm not sure either.
Okay, there you go. Anyways, it's a good feel good kind of comedy, but like obviously every show has its stuff that they start adding to it that's very woke and all that kind of stuff. However, the Ted Lasso character is very likable. I haven't watched the more recent seasons, but it's one of those things where they're hyping soccer and they're trying to bring it into America. It's an amateur thing that's been going on for a while. Like when I lived in Oregon, it's much bigger, like near the Portland area and the Seattle area, and some of those places have teams, and now they want to make it like a world sport.
Yep, the one world. That's the
one world.
That's going to be the one that brings us all together.
Yeah.
Moses, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you know how to use your air conditioner? I ask this because usually you set it to a comfortable temperature, yet you, sir, in the heat wave, are wearing a blanket.
Okay. So this is the coldest room in the house, right? So the AC is probably at like what, 72, right? But this room, like, it'll get really cold. I don't know if you guys hear it in the background, but like, it's literally like behind this wall, like the AC unit's right there. I don't know if you hear it running, but like it could be 73 in the house, but this will still be the coldest room. You know, I even try to like wear a knit sweater, but I'm still freaking freezing. Like shit.
It does look kind of funny knowing where you're actually at.
It's like you got that AC so cranked that you gotta have a blanket on, man.
Because if I were to be in my room or downstairs, I would not need this or this. I could just, you know, just have a shirt or be shirtless and be fine. You know, it's just here. So
is it like 40 in that room?
How cold is it, you think?
Like, it's cold. It's cold, yeah.
That's wild, man. It's just funny. I'm just teasing you.
But to touch on that FIFA thing, my sister and my dad, they were literally watching it the whole time, right? So, you know, I'd come downstairs and like find them talking about it, whatever. And it was during, I think, Argentina and Switzerland, right? And I don't know shit about soccer, right? I don't. So I tell my sister, hey, like, that's the captain. She's like, you idiot, that's not the captain. And I'm like, but he's wearing like the, you know, the arm brace captain thing. And then we started looking around and they all had it. All the players from Argentina had it. And I was like, what the fuck is that? You know, like I wanted to dive deep into what it was or whatever, but I just came to the conclusion that it's a wearable. It's just they're tracking their biometrics and everything. And the players from Switzerland didn't have it, but every player from Argentina had it. The goalie had it. They literally all had it. And you know, when you play soccer, like you can't have loose things around you because like it'll fall. It's a contact sport. It was on tight. Like it was on tight. It was a black little thing. Looked like it had a little Apple Watch widget in there. I was just like, that's a fucking wearable. It's a fucking wearable.
While they were playing.
Seriously.
Wow. Is there? I wonder if there's any controversy about whether or not that's an advantage.
Argentina
It
has
should
been a
be.
hive mind. So I'm wondering what that. There has been my daughter, she's part of the youth group, but they all love the soccer thing right now, right? Like it's like the world sport to bring them all together. Yeah. I wonder. So there's studies of how in the States, certain universities use wearables to get their players to be of a beehive mind. And I'll have to find, I had found a short where I kind of deep dived into a psych field, but I never thought about that with the FIFA thing. You know, they were stating, if you want to go down a real big rabbit hole, they were stating that they were utilizing this to try to get geofencing a little bit more accurate with international travel and in the States. But my daughter was talking about how her and her friends were saying how Argentina was the favorite because they were like a beehive mind and they couldn't be infiltrated. And now that you say that they had possibly a wearable, I wonder if that had something to do with it. That's interesting.
Look into it. Just literally type in
it's gonna go on
the highlights from the game, Argentina and Switzerland. They literally all had it. It's black and there's a little thing that like pops out or whatever that you can see. But yeah, I looked at it and I was like, I don't know what the hell that is, but that's a fucking wearable. I don't know why you guys are using it for. Another thing that's pretty cool. So, you know, with soccer, there's a bunch of like offside and everything. Apparently, every player had to get scanned and get these with their digital twin because they're running with the simulation so that, you know, whenever like it will be offside, they'll be able to replay it in the simulation and be like, okay, it was actually offside. So that was definitely cool. It was definitely something. So closing.
Yeah, you guys, I mean, you can look at the screen or whatnot. This goes back to heading into the 2022 World Cup. They were talking about clothing. So here, apparently Argentina was wearing actual wearables, which I guess would be maybe an amplification ability over clothing, but who knows where they're at exactly with it. But they were already doing clothing that was basically wearables where they could monitor this stuff. So if you could do this, you would know. So it's like when you play like a video game and it's like a sports game like basketball or whatever, or maybe a fighting game is easier, like Mortal Kombat, when you punch each other and the power meter goes down. Well, that's what this would allow you to do is the heart rate, the energy rate, how much they had left in the tank. You would, instead of a human making the determination, like I should pull him for a little bit. Now you basically have biometrics just basically telling you like, yo, this dude needs a break. This chick needs
absolutely, yeah. Dude, I'm telling you, like, if you see, like, I'll probably post it in the chat later after this. But once you see it, you're like, what the hell? All the players are wearing it, and the opposite team isn't wearing it. So I'm like, what the hell is it? I'm like, the only logical thing is that it would be a wearable. Now, what are they using it for? Whatever, God knows, right? But they're wearing a fucking wearable for a reason. So, yeah, that was my observation.
The NBA says it's for performance statistics to like to gauge like what muscle groups they're using when they shoot their best games, and they track every living thing on them in practice, even heart rate, respiration, just bouncing signal off them constantly.
And
Spain must have had something else up their sleeve, or somewhere else on their body, in their body, if you will. Maybe they were using Booma Internet of Booty Beads because they whooped Argentina's ass in the finals, apparently.
But wouldn't that disconnect them?
Exactly.
Yeah.
They weren't under the control of the hive mind.
They
weren't.
weren't.
They had their natural abilities.
Oh, I see.
Probably not. No, it's probably nothing like that. That's just a movie idea that I have in my brain because everybody's augmented, and Juxta would be like, no, shut up. These guys were juiced to the gills on something that the other team didn't have. Argentina was allowed to try out the fucking biometric wearables, and Spain had the opposite of Internet of Booty Beads. They had booty beads that were the wearable internal. Huh?
Okay, roll with it. I'll look over the script when you're done.
Charley, I gotta get it in every show. Like that was my opportunity. All right, I dropped it on there. You know, it happened. Mark loves it. He's excited about it. It's his first show, and he wanted to experience what it was like when Booma drops the booty bead talk. And is it Hoktar? Am I saying it wrong when you get with that? Is that how you say it? You're unmuted, my friend.
Sorry. Yeah, it is Hoktar. Yeah, it's
Hoktar,
actually
okay.
It's something that I got off the show Stargate SG-1.
Okay. All right.
It's slang term for advanced human. We were talking about abilities earlier. And some of my own abilities, I chose that very specifically.
All right. And just to be sure, you haven't had any dreams of my death, have you?
No, nothing like that. But like I said, even if I did, that doesn't mean it's set.
Okay, that's good to know, I think.
But you could, like, if you had a dream that he was in a specific area, you could be like, don't go to this area. Or would that mess it up? It would be like the butterfly effect where it would turn around and bite him.
So instead of me like having like a nice noble death, maybe I have like a horrific death if I do the opposite of what I was supposed to do.
It reminds, what's that movie called?
Final Destination.
Yeah, that's what it means.
Yes.
Yeah, like it could mess you up. So how do you know if you should warn someone or not? Like how that would be.
Or like the butterfly effect with Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah.
Right. Because you change one little thing. And like a person's destination, like you're supposed to be there. And like you said, Dorian, maybe you would have just had something where you went real quick and you know, painless and all of that, but then you didn't end up going and you ended up in a worse situation.
Right. Burning alive or something, you know, where I have the time.
Yeah, something horrible or tortured or something.
So
okay, that's the end of your movie. It's got the ending.
I figure it's kind of a scenario where I wouldn't dream it if there wasn't a reason, but then I also use a lot of intuition and discernment while in my dreams. A lot of us in our day-to-day waking lives, we write off our intuition. But at least for me, when I'm in my dreams, it is very, very hard to ignore. I've even identified demonic entities disguised as human beings just because of the way they felt when I was in their presence.
Yeah.
But to go back to the dreaming the future thing, I just think if I've dreamt it, it's probably for a reason. I've had 2 scenarios where I don't care if, you know, it's completely off base or anything like that. If it has something to do with somebody's health or risk of their life, I'll still reach out even if I sound crazy at this point. I've just had too many experiences. So one time I had a dream of my mother going to work. She worked in a factory setting. And I had a dream of her standing underneath something that dropped off of a high shelf and hit her over the head. She was not okay. So I got up out of my bed, I phoned up her work, and I forced them to pull her away from her workstation. She lived for many, many years after that. So did I save her life? I have no idea. There's no way to know. One of the most recent ones, I don't even talk to this individual anymore. But I for some reason, I dreamt about her. And it was because there were two scenes that I saw. The first scene was her speaking to a doctor. And the second one that I saw was her driving home from that appointment in tears, like just absolutely devastated. And somehow I also intuited, I don't even know where the information came from, that it was a reproductive issue. So again, do I know that it's legit? I have no idea. I still reached out to the individual. I still sent them a message letting them know what I saw, and I never got anything back. And honestly, I don't expect to. So you also, if you dive into this, you start dreaming the future. Not only do you have to take into account, you might not get enough information and you see something horrible and there's nothing you can do about it. And the other is, in a lot of cases, you will never know for sure if you're right. You just kind of have to keep on, just waiting for the next thing to come along and deal with it as best you can.
Sounds a little depressing, bro.
It can be.
You need.
So anytime I get a DM from you, I'm gonna be worried.
Right.
It'll be
Oh my
something
God.
crazy.
Every time you send a DM, you're like, "Don't tell me, bro."
I have seen good things in dreams, by the way.
I'm glad that you embrace it. I don't feel like you're doing
positive
well.
vibes, bro. Come on, man. It's not all doom and gloom, right?
No. Not at
You
all.
don't just see dead people, you see live people here, right?
Actually, the dead people thing I'd never done in waking life, and I never did in my dreams up until the passing of my mother and sister. And it seemed like after that, I've seen them multiple times, and a bunch of other people. I have no idea who they are.
Just randomly in your environment?
No, never in waking life have I ever seen a dead person. Actually, I have never seen either any kind of a spiritual entity, whether it be dead or, I have intuited at times, presences of dead people, but I've never seen them. I just knew they were there.
Wow. We could do a whole, I don't know, would this be paranormal? We should do another show.
Or dreams.
Right. Maybe dream, something about dreams or nightmares or dream state, or we could bring in their ability now that we're that's becoming public, that's been going on for a while, of them putting stuff in our minds. We were talking about earlier the Slender Man, the Hat Man, and these things. I think they're constructs that are being neurally nudged into our brain, whether it's through algorithms, social media, or through our dream states, subconsciously, subliminally, and now through these memes that we were showing earlier in the show. If you wanted to, Mark, if you wanted to do a more specific one, you would have probably a better idea of the focus, but it would be interesting to learn a little bit more about this if you wanted to share it.
Yeah,
Sure.
that telepathy tapes.
Sorry, what was that?
The telepathy tapes that I listened to, they kind of go into some of the scientific tests regarding what Mark discusses. Mark, what I would be interested in knowing is when you go into your dream states, is your Wi-Fi unplugged? Because I want to know.
Oh,
if
yes.
it's being something that is fed into you as you're sleeping, but also you said and expressed that it happened or is happening more frequently since you've had a loss. And I wonder if that loss opened you up a little bit more to that connection. They quote unquote call it like clairvoyancy. So what is it? Is it, my ancestors would say that you're clairvoyant, that you would that you're sensitive enough to be able to adhere to both realms, for better lack of words, or what have you? Or is it like what Booma says, the things that they have given us throughout the period of time in which we've lived here that are now being integrated a little bit more into upgrades? Or is it a radio frequency thing? You know what I mean? I think that there's a lot to it. I'd be curious to know more too, because you're not the only one experiencing it for sure. And there's different levels, 110%.
Yeah, so I didn't actually experience more activity necessarily after the passing of my mother and sister. It was sort of just, it was new and it was extra, but things didn't really pick up after that. I don't frequently see dead people when I sleep. It just happened actually mainly just for a period of about 2 months. I think it's just what you're more open to. I guess at that point, I don't know. Death to me is a very weird subject. And when it comes to, somebody brought up the movie The Sixth Sense, and it's good that they did, because I actually do not like the usage of that term, because I don't actually believe that these extra abilities or tuning into other things, I don't believe it's actually our sixth sense. I believe it's actually our first sense. It is our primary sense. And all of our other senses are built upon it. So being our first sense, it's more of an electromagnetic thing. And all of our other senses take that electromagnetic information and convert it into electric. But just because they do that doesn't mean that we require that. I believe it's possible for us to just simply pick up the electromagnetic frequencies, and without our bodies using an organ to convert it into electricity, we can still use that electromagnetic field to glean information from the field or reality or whatever you want to call it.
That's deep.
Well, that's going back into the ley line work that Sabrina was focusing on in North Carolina. You know what I mean?
I can be part of it. You sent over a video on Telegram. You want me to play that?
Yeah, you were talking earlier about augmentations. That video is supposedly a potential implant. It's a cell phone implant that a woman gets surgically implanted into her hand.
Well, that sounds just lovely. Let's watch it.
You call me. Sorry? Will you call me? You mean telephone me? Yes. Where? Now. But you're sitting right here. This is why I wanted to have lunch. You just phone me. Now. Hello, Bethany speaking. Hello. You phoning for Bethany? Yes. What are you doing? This is Bethany. Can you hear me? Well, you're right in front of me. But can you hear me down the phone? Oh my gosh. This is me. On the phone, I had it implanted. My hand is the phone. I can walk and talk because I'm on the phone inside my hand. I am the phone. This is what phones are going to be from now on. I have integrated. Thank you for your call. Subdermal implants. They charge themselves with motion like a self-winding watch. And it's on the 22 network. I get signal across 95% of UK mainland, 98 by next year. When I phoned you, it was ringing. You were ringing. That's the speaker. So small. Okay, but when did you get this done? That course in Winchester. I had one finger done every night. I still need to use a handset to phone out. Look. Hello. Hi. Okay, but look, I can't believe you had surgery without telling me. Skin plants, not surgery, and I knew you'd be cross. But I'm 18, and you had that tattoo when you were 18, and it's the same sort of thing. And I wanted to ask you, will you do me a favor? What? Will you tell Dad?
Oh, sweet.
Please, will you tell Dad for me?
Oh dear Lord, so many things. So that's like she was saying with the tattoo thing. That's where that's going to be for that generation, or I guess the generation now that's becoming of age. They will want it because they'll be the first generation. It makes it exciting. So it is the new, like when I was growing up, it was just like trying to get like someone to buy you like chewing tobacco, because I was big into chewing tobacco coming from like a small hick town in Washington State, and then getting somebody to buy a beer, those kinds of things, or getting a tattoo, or getting somebody like when I was in 4th grade, I got my first time I got my ear pierced, and I had to have I had to ask my parents if I could do it. Now it's this.
Implants. And they make it so it's like, they call it like non-invasive or no big deal. It's not surgery.
Yeah.
They're cutting you open and putting something inside of you. That's a surgery. I don't care. Like, I don't know what to say. It's frightening. And then they don't even consider the access that somebody will have to them.
Right. Think about hackers.
And they're giving permission.
Yep.
And they want to hide it because they know, right? She's like, don't tell Dad. So there's already the disconnect.
Right. Mm-hmm. It used to be don't tell, or you tell Dad I'm pregnant, I think. Now it's, you tell Dad or Mom or whatever that I'm changing their DNA too.
Yeah, that's wild.
I think this goes into the whole, if you don't get augmented, you'll be isolated, or like you'll be a problem for everyone else, because they'll be able to, hey, I can phone Booma with my mind. Now I need a little cell phone. And then whereas you, the, free range human, you don't have that technology in your head. So now I have to phone your actual phone, which, and then not to get into the whole IQ thing where we're all going to be smarter because we're going to be able to look up anything on the internet for, like that. Whereas a free range human is going to have to look it up and do some research. So that really touches into, the smart cities with the augmented, and then the human zoos with the non-augmented. That makes sense.
And to be trendy, you know what I mean? Every kid wants to be able to fit in. It's going to give them a social status.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's how they're presenting it on that show too, because I've seen a little bit more of that show, and I can't remember where I saw it at, but it's a BBC show, and there was another kid telling their parents that they were coming out, but as a transhumanism, they were trans. They called it trans, even, but it was transhuman instead of
transgender or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're not even seeing the transgender anymore. I mean, the literal term of transhuman has seemed to be what is circulating in 2026, 2027. Anybody knows the 2030 agenda? You know what I mean?
Well, they needed a bridge. They needed something to, and the word is perfect, really, when you think about it on their end, like in terms of how they planned it.
Well, yeah, because
it's super easy. Easy.
We've established tolerance
transition.
for the last decade. Yeah, that's wild.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, like you were saying, Heather, I agree. Complete bridge, but look how fast they passed it. Now they're still utilizing it. They're still making billions off of these surgeries and these drugs that they give the kids to keep their hormones for the opposite sex and those kinds of things. But then it goes into transhumanism, and that's going to happen rapidly. It's already happening. Mark will be right back. But this is the new thing. Like when I was growing up, it was like, I want to have the nicest basketball shoes on the court. And like they were getting to the point where they're like $110, $120 for like the nicest Nikes or Reeboks or whatever, like to have like the coolest gym shoes. Now it's going to be like, I want the coolest upgrade, the coolest implant, the coolest new Neuralink. Oh, I got, just like a cell phone. It's version 12 or it's 2.5 or whatever it is.
Yeah, they already do that with those kinds of things, those tangible things. Only it's going to be permanent and integrated right into them. And it's gonna be like, hey, for Christmas this year, can I please get this upgrade
Yep.
instead of the new video game or whatever?
Social pressure on the parents, and like, look how many parents have bent the knee to. Sabrina was in here earlier. Oh, what is up, Liz? Billy Hart's in the house. Hope you're feeling all right. Yeah, a little under the weather still. It's freaking migraines and stuff. Glad you're here. We've had some laughs, but we've also talked about a lot of serious stuff. So like tattoos are the cool things that were like when we were kids is now going to be augmentation, man. And we watched when Sabrina came in talking about what was that? It was Drag Queen Happy Hour, and how many parents thought that they were being like progressive by being cool with it and taking their kids to watch men act like women and do all kinds of sexual stuff with them and then read them books and shit. And look how many freaking parents just were glad to do it. Look how many parents like almost encourage their kids to do transgender just so they can get attention. There's a certain sickness out there, whatever you prescribe to, as far as like the spiritual aspects, the neurological, the physiological, all the different things that are going on, the augmentation. But these people, there's so many of them out there that are out of their fucking minds with what they want their kids to be a part of. And there's a lot of kids that do these surgeries and they regret it. The suicide rates for the transgender thing, off the charts. Imagine what's going to happen as these kids try the first augmentation internals, which they're already doing to a degree, but wait until it becomes a trend where they're actually like kids that are begging for this kind of stuff, and then to see what it does to them, because the body naturally is going to reject it. That's probably why they're putting so much stuff in our food, air, water, and the inoculations, all that stuff. They're trying to prep the bodies. COVID, all those kinds of things were part of this load balancing, and now they're going to see if they can get this stuff into kids. But what's going to happen in the beginning? Oh, I don't think it's going to be good. Just like the transgender,
Well, and
lots of rejection of the body, the natural order of things, if you will.
Well, and what's scary is how they did it in schools behind parents' backs, and then they lowered the consent age in the medical and psychiatric field, if you will. So instead of them going in and at schools getting injected, like the COVID injection behind parents' backs or whatever, or getting like medications that will change them, then it's going to be that. They'll be able to do it because the age of consent is already lowered to what they do to they can make their own decisions with their own bodies. So they had to get that in place first before they put that out. That's how I see it. That's scary.
Wait till this shit starts interacting with their neurons, man. Till the peripheral nervous system and everything gets like this like weird like upgrade. Like just the pharmaceuticals that I've taken with the SSRIs and various things that I've taken for various things that I struggle with for a long time, and the ways it would make my brain feel, the brain zaps, the things that it's hard to explain to somebody that's never taken them, the jitters that you get, the ways that it like makes you incapable of sleeping, or you oversleep and you can't stop eating, or like the way it changes your chemical imbalances. This is going to be next level. I mean, you're talking energy, you're talking your appliances connecting into your body like they already do, but I'm talking like amplified to a level where they're going to test it out as it progresses.
Y'all have heard of sensory processing disorder, right? Where it's common among neurodivergents because they don't process sensory stimuli the same way. So I think what you're saying is already happening, Dorian, is all I'm saying. And if we want to see how it's happening, I mean, have y'all seen that George Lucas's first film? It was I think it was a graduate project, THX 1138.
No.
George Lucas's first film. Okay, it's sick. It's scientists testing on humans with electronic warfare, basically trying to see how far they can turn up the dial before they freak out under controlled circumstances in like this creepy laboratory setting, openly testing electronic stimulation, neurostimulation on these lab rat human test subjects. It's real fucked up. And also, reveals the hand a little bit with Lucas.
Right. But the joke's on all of us because we're actually in Amiel's dream. This whole thing that we're
I do always wonder that. I'm like,
we're in
whose
his dream. I mean, just look at
imagination
that.
are
Him
we
right next to his
in?
main.
I know.
It freaking nailed him,
So
and
good.
it destroyed. Look at this. I mean, starting from the far right. I mean, Moses. That's not even that. They body snatched you and put you in somebody else, and then you have Charley and Heather's children, and then me looking like I kind of got body snatched, but they kind of like space swapped me a little bit, and then gave me the dumbest haircut they possibly could, which I thought was hilarious, so I had to keep it. But no, this is Amiel's movie. We are only in his matrix.
I love it.
Right.
So there you go.
That's
We've
cool.
all been duped. But we have the answer now. It's been solved. With one thumbnail and the look from the man that wears the Matrix glasses or whatever those are. Blade Runner glasses? What are those? Those are badass though. They're not Google glasses, are they?
They're pinhole glasses.
Oh, nice. Those are good for your brain.
Right.
I've heard good things about that.
Cuts out a lot of the light, right?
So what I heard about them is like they help with your vision. I'm pretty sure they help with other things, but over time, it helps with your vision and all. And so
you have to focus only on a pinhole.
Right. Yeah. So I recently started wearing them and keep on doing that over time.
All right. Well, you have to let us know.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, I will. Well, the thing about all of this technology and people getting these implants, the system, as far as the system itself, getting all this information, we have these people called hackers, and they will, whoever they are, anywhere in the world, will be able to also gain access to whatever it is someone is wearing. So people need to be keep that in mind. Do they just want some random person that they don't even know being able to hack into whatever it is that they're thinking about having implanted in?
Right. Well, I mean, I think they're already hacking into us, but it'll be interesting to see if, especially the younger generations that understand this more, the people that get augmented, if they're able to hack into a human that's not even augmented, and if they want that. They, as in the people that are monitoring this whole thing to see how the human experiment plays out through the transition of this.
And then what's going to happen? Like what happened with the Native Americans? Are we all the ones that don't get augmented? Are we just going to get a piece of land that we have to live off of?
The sewer. We're already sending Moses in to cutlery school or culinary arts so that he can learn how to create the best rat soup that you've ever tasted in your life.
Ratatouille.
Right. Sewer rat delicacy. Moses he's going to be famous for it down in the underground freaking sewer system that we'll live in. That's where we'll be.
I kind of look at that, what you just said, Cass, as the human zoo. Like, yeah, I'll give you a piece of land and then they'll come by and visit us when see how it used to be. See those stupid people that didn't, And I can picture them driving through like the safari and the fucking Jeeps and shit.
There's
That's
a
what
thing going around with the kids right now, and I haven't deep dived on it, but it's called Digital Zoo. And I hear it's bad. I haven't looked into it, but I am curious if it doesn't have anything to do with something a little bit like that, because what are they going to do? There's going to be a huge gap of a population who has, for better lack of terms, done these upgrades or done these augmentations, and then others who haven't.
Mm-hmm. It reminds me of another Black Mirror episode, actually, where it was like this girl, these two people ended up like almost like in a ghost town kind of thing, but it had like a museum. And it was all this technology that they were saying was like old technology, but for us it wouldn't be. And one of them in one of the displays, if you will, was a guy sitting in there that they could interact with and talk with, but he was like a hologram sort of. Basically, I would think of it sort of like a digital twin, but like with skin, look like a guy. And I think it ended up being her dad or something, or her grandfather, or somebody. That girl came there. I don't know. It was a crazy ass episode, and it was a couple years ago I saw it. But that's what that kind of reminds me of. Like we'll be in zoos, museums.
And like,
I'm gonna be flinging my poop. Don't forget.
Oh, I'll be right there with you.
I'm gonna be poop flinging like you've never seen, man.
Fuck you. Fire!
Eye augmentation, bastards.
I think.
Oh God.
This all goes back to what Charlie was saying, how you're pushing all of this stuff on the youth, this transhumanism, this transgender stuff, autism and everything. And if the youth are the future, then they're the perfect people to bring in so they can deliver that that dystopian future that you want to imply on them. And I see a lot of they're pushing AI to neurodivergent kids. Like if you have ADHD or ADD or autism or whatever, they're really pushing it to say, hey, like you can thrive here in AI and tech, in the military, or whatever the case may be. So they're definitely influencing the youth into embracing this whole system, So it's
at the same time, they're also telling him that if you don't do this, you're going to get left behind.
Yeah,
that is a language that they use often, which goes back to WEF. This kind of stuff. No more free will. You'll own nothing and be happy because you're going to be living in the metaverse. Just download your consciousness. Out here in the world is just shitty, and we don't allow you to go nowhere because you're going to be stuck in your cognitive city.
Exactly.
Or or you're gonna,
just like Hunger Games,
it's
stuck
like
in your social status if you don't cooperate, if you don't, what I mean, comply, well then you get vetoed of being able to have access to X, Y, and Z. You know what I mean?
Right. You don't have to do it, but and you'll be considered lower class citizen, if you will.
Right.
Less than.
We're going to make it harder for you to be able to provide for the families and to be able to excel. And they've already taken away the priorities or the titles of certain jobs. They're already demoralizing society as is. We're seeing that in live time right now. And then they're fast tracking these CRNA jobs, just like Booma was talking. I mean, all of these are jobs that these kids are getting ready to go into. They're not going to just stop these jobs. This is a whole infrastructure of system upon system upon systems sustaining themselves.
Yeah.
Right. And if you want to be considered successful, if you want to move out of mom and dad's house, or you want to do, you want to be able to do anything really, because everything's going to be so damn expensive.
It already is.
I mean, as it is right now, you can't. I mean, when I was growing up, if you got a job at like a fast food restaurant or something like that, like when I was 19, I had a job in a restaurant. I was able to move. I mean, I had a roommate, but we were able to, go and live on our own. There's no way you could do that now.
We were just talking about that. Yeah, I worked at a bank during the housing market crash, and to see what they have done statistically with economics, financially over the course of the last
systematically.
It's
been systematically.
It's been, and there's
a pattern.
Back. You know what I mean? And
Any of it.
How does the youth sustain themselves? I try to teach our children self-sustainability, but they're spraying the airs. We're constantly having to check our dirt. We're constantly having to make sure that we are staying on top of not getting toxins completely absorbed into our systems, and that's just trying to walk outside. How are they gonna buy a home or own a car, or going back to just reproduction? They're gonna be so brainwashed that they're not gonna want to interact with another human being because they're too scared of getting viruses. They're thinking the viruses are coming from bodily fluids, and really it's coming from the things in which they're choosing to put into themselves.
Yeah, a lot of them don't
And
want to
all
leave
of
the
it's being tolerated in society. It's all being accepted and manipulated
Push.
to make them think it's okay.
rewarded, even socially rewarded,
Oh,
encouraged,
that's great, Stephanie.
Yeah, there you
celebrated.
go. Yeah, thank you. That's
School should be
So thank you
interesting
for not
next
making me
year.
feel so alone, and not to be doom and gloom. I'm like, yeah, I see it. I don't know what to do about it. It's all fun and jokes.
Right. Well, that's the whole, that's at minimum what we can do is at least create community for those of us so we don't lose our minds, which is probably what whoever they is, people
Right.
in charge of the augmentation that is being forced down upon us want those of us that do not want to comply to lose our fucking minds as soon as possible and be done, be locked away, whether it's prison or freaking in the morgue, taking our lives, those kinds of things. They want that.
Mark, if you're able to cognitively move in your future and tell us what we could be doing between now and then, just get in our DMs and let us know.
Yeah, let's go ahead and just heap all the responsibility onto Mark. Let's do that. I'm just Mark.
I
You're in
mean,
charge. Take over. Tell us what to do, brother.
you got this,
Well,
right?
that is it. That'll be another chat because I actually do because I have been. Without knowing the finer details, I knew the times we were coming into, so I've been compelled to learn certain subjects. So I literally have a text file open right now of all the links of all the albums that I've created in Facebook for all the different self-sustainability things you could possibly imagine. So
I'm gonna
that
have
will
to
have
find
to
you
be
on that social platform.
Sure,
Send
no
me that
worries.
stuff. Yeah,
Sure, yeah, I will do that right now.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
That's awesome. And so you're in the Synergy group, and you're also in my Telegram, so people can connect with Mark and learn more from him. It's been awesome having you all on here. I gotta give meds to the kitty here pretty soon, and we've gone over 3 hours. It's been awesome having you, Cass and Mark, for the first time, and the return of Moses and Amiel has been great. I love having you guys on the panel.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yes, I didn't get
Appreciate
kicked
you.
off, so thank you.
Yeah, everybody. Technology wasn't too bad this time, and Moses,
Except for me.
stay warm. In that looks like a really cozy blanket, though, bro.
It's very cozy.
If I was gonna crank up my ice, if I had that blanket, I'd crank up my AC just to be able to have that blanket wrapped around me because that thing is so look. I love it. Awesome, brother. But it's been great having you all. Yeah, the two veterans. I'll let you guys say the final whatever we want to do when we close one of these BOOMA community streamers up. Heather, you want to go first?
Sure. I just want to say thank you. It's usually what I do say for everybody joining and the new people for coming. It's great to see everybody come together like this in the community, and I appreciate you all for coming. I can't wait to continue the conversation and have a show about dreams too, because I think that's a subject I'd like to talk more about. So I'd like to have you back on, if that's okay, Booma.
Yeah, I think it's a good one. I think it would be an important one. And I'm telling you, that's why I don't like to pump any platform, not Telegram, not nothing, but that seems to be where we're at. Now we got Mark, you've been sharing links whenever you show up in the live chat. You're just dropping knowledge, dropping receipts, dropping more information for people to find on various topics. Now we know more about you, and now you showed up. It's a pleasure to have all of you on, and new perspectives, and to see the band expanding in the sense of I'm hoping that people feel welcoming here. I'm a kind of silly guy, just chill, whatever. I just want everybody to feel welcome and be able to say what they want to say. I try not to put people on the spot, but I want everybody to have the opportunity to talk as well. I don't want people to feel like they came on and just sat on the panel. So I'll you know, it's I try not to call on people in the sense of calling you out or anything like that. I just want people to have a good time, to feel like you're a part of this. And I want people the opportunity to be able to do that. RG, if you're still in the chat, I'll try to get you back into the Telegram and chat with you, bro. I hope you are doing well. Charlie, would you like to finish this up here?
I was just chatting with Region 9 in the chat about, you know, just what do we tell our kids, you know, who feel that their future perhaps has been robbed of them, you know. And I was just saying, I think one of the best things we can do is example joy and discernment and a desire for truth and understanding. Just because things are kind of crappy out there right now doesn't mean that adversity won't build great strength of spirit. So we can look at it as an opportunity, even when the tsunami of shit is seems to be feeling like it's drowning us. We can still absolutely prove who we are inside, regardless. And that's ultimately what matters anyways. So, and I also would love to do a reading group of the book, The Autism Epidemic, Transhumanism's Dirty Little Secret, that I just finished. So if anybody's interested, I'm just going to drop the book in the chat. And yeah, let me know if you read it and if you like it. It's just short stories, so it's not like you're going to have to like carve out 2 months to get through it. It's short. Right. Kind of like The Machine Stops, also very short, but very profound stories. So
right. Yeah, and you'll catch Charlie in the Telegram as well. And then we got the women's groups going on, and connect as much as we can. This is what we can offer. We can offer Liz. I'm blind, but I wanna. She's in, but she's a little bit blind. It's all good. Audiobook it up and get some notes from Charlie. She'll give you a rundown. It will go over it if enough people are interested in it. But it's been a blessing to bring this to you and have another BOOMA Community Streama number 48, July 26, 2026. God bless you all. We will catch you on the next one. Peace. Get Cass back in here. I think Cass wants to say goodbye. Goodbye, everyone. Catch you on the next one.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cass. And 3.